Immortal Cultivation. I run an internet cafe in another world. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 276, Understanding. Especially towards Xiaotu and Ao Yang. They were very scared, and they avoided Xiaotu and Ao Yang. At this time, the two people remembered what Bai Luo had just said. They thought that Bai Luo was just joking, but they didn't expect that it was really like this. The people around them actually showed fear towards them, which made the two people want to cry without tears. How could they leave such a bad impression in their hearts? They obviously didn't want to hurt these innocent people. Why was it always like this? At this time, the two people didn't know what to say anymore. They could feel that there were still too many things they didn't understand. Otherwise, it wouldn't suddenly become like this. At this time, Bai Luo asked them to sit down here and then asked them not to leave. You sit here today. You see the three of us, right? You must not leave at all. If you want to do something, you can move around in this area. But once you encounter a place you can't leave, don't hesitate at all. You must wait well. In this case, Bai Luo and the others must appear in this place. At this time, everyone was sitting there, waiting for Bai Luo's order. They were still frightened for Bai Luo's words. No one dared to say anything loudly, although there were not many people opposite Bai Luo. But those people were not fools. Anyone with a discerning eye could see why they became like this. So at this time they knew what to do. Everyone was waiting there, thinking that Bai Luo was going to do something to him. At this time, Bai Luo did not use a particularly strong force to control them. Everyone had to sit quietly in this place. Bai Luo just said to them calmly, "Don't worry, we brought you here without any ill intentions. Otherwise, we would not bring you here and let you sit here safely. I came here just to understand the situation. Just now, something very cruel should have happened here. I wonder if you know about it. It's in that place outside. A group of people were brutally injured. That place is not far from you, so I want to ask, have you seen the scene or know who the murderer is? If you can provide it to us, we will have a huge reward." After hearing this, none of them thought it would be like this. They originally thought that Bai Luo was in the same group with those people because that person's power was too terrifying. Some people who stayed nearby, after seeing those things, realized that not all people had the same feeling. Only in this way can the standard be truly met. Next, they just need to stay in this place. Although the process may be a little complicated, who knows what the result of these things will be. Bai Luo was there to comfort them, but Bai Luo knew that it would be difficult to comfort them because they still felt very scared of that unknown power. So if you said the wrong content, it would affect these people's points. So at this time, they were very clear. Ao Yang and Xiaotu were listening nearby and could feel Bai Luo's caution. Bai Luo's appearance was really respecting these people and not forcing them to accept something. There was no need to worry about it next. As long as they could stay in this place, Bai Luo believed that, as long as he spoke slowly, he would be able to comfort them. So Bai Luo spoke to them again. "Don't worry, everyone. With us here, those people won't dare to bully you arrogantly anymore. Don't worry, our first mission this time is to get rid of them. As long as we eliminate all of them, nothing will happen again." When Bai Luo said this, his tone was very sincere. After seeing how powerful the person who imitated Xiaotu and his friends was, they all developed fear of those people. Now that Bai Luo came here and told them that they could successfully resist, they already knew why they had to do this. So no one was going to do anything about these things. They all understood that they were safe now. As long as Bai Luo stood here, they didn't have to worry about anything. So they didn't have to be as nervous as before, and everything would definitely get better and better. Bai Luo continued to sit there. Some of them wanted to say something to Bai Luo, but Bai Luo didn't refuse at all. He answered all the questions of those people there. When they saw Ao Yang and Xiaotu were nervous, Bai Luo asked Ao Yang and Xiaotu to come in front of them. At first, Ao Yang and Xiaotu were a little embarrassed. After all, they could see from the eyes of those people that they hated them. Bai Luo now knew the psychology of these people very well, so after his repeated preaching, Bai Luo believed that they would be willing to speak up. Things were really as he expected. Sure enough, he started to talk about what should be said at that place. In this way, there would be no need to worry about some problems. The fearful hearts of those people were moved by Bai Luo's words. They were finally not as nervous as before. Bai Luo was relieved when he saw that they were finally comforted. Read the error-free version at 69 bookbar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. It seems that I'm not very good at such things. After all, this ability is not something that ordinary people can have. But fortunately, after talking to each other, I always make these people no longer resist them. Gao Yang and Zhao Tu dared to sit next to Bai Luo at this time. Otherwise, they felt a little scared when they saw the eyes of those people just now. They didn't know what they would do to them, so they were so nervous. Seeing that their eyes were now calm, Bai Luo, Zhao Tu and Gao Yang could finally relax and sit there to rest peacefully. Since those people were not afraid of them, Zhao Tu and Gao Yang finally didn't have to worry about irritating them. Bai Luo still sat next to those people, chatting with them slowly and calming their emotions. Chapter 277, Narration. Now in the hearts of these people, Bai Luo is very trustworthy, so as long as Bai Luo says, they are willing to believe. With their trust, Bai Luo feels particularly happy, so at this time Bai Luo continued to say to them, "Thank you very much for your trust in me. We came to this place to help you solve these problems, so we want to know what happened, because when we came here, we only saw corpses on the ground, and nothing else happened. Some of you should have seen those things. Don't worry, with us here, those people will not come back to attack you, so you can tell us what you have seen. If you can find out where they are now, then it will be the greatest help to us. Only by catching them can we completely nip these problems in the bud, so I hope everyone can give us some advice." After hearing this, those people finally understood what Bai Luo and the others meant. They could understand it now, and Bai Luo was right. If they didn't say it, those people might come back to this place and do something else. Only in this way can they really solve this matter, so several of them stood up. They stood there, looked at Bai Luo, and said to Bai Luo, "We should have seen the tragic scene. I think about it every night. It is too terrible." When those people said these words, they were still trembling all over. It can be felt that their initial fear was definitely because they suffered a heavy blow, which made them like that. There was no water in it, so Bai Luo completely understood their thoughts. After all, no matter who was affected by such a thing, it would be impossible to recover their spirits in the first time. Those who could be comforted by him in a short time were already mentally strong. Although the rest did not avoid Bai Luo and his friends, they still could not communicate with Bai Luo. They could only look at Bai Luo from a distance. At this time, they began to talk in that place. "Those people look the same as the ones in front of us. Except for you, the rest are exactly the same as these people. When they appeared here, we saw another group of people fighting against them. Those people's kung fu was very powerful. Then they seemed to have set a trap and trapped those people here, those who looked very similar to you. They put them in the trap and began to torture them. After the trap killed those who fell into it, they made a big fuss on their bodies, cutting off all their hands and feet and inserting them into their mouths. There were some even more terrifying things, which was to cut off their heads and put them under their feet. Then they hung them on the tree, and during the whole process, they laughed very wildly. That laughter was very eerie and terrifying, as if what they held in their hands was not human life, but just ordinary things. When I saw this scene, I was so scared that I wanted to run away. They heard the sound and almost attacked me. Fortunately, I was very fast and ran back to the village. They didn't seem to think it was fun, so they didn't chase me and continued to teach those people a lesson. That scene was too bloody. The ground was full of bloodshed by those people. It had become a river, flowing bit by bit. When I closed my eyes, I saw the hideous smiles of those people. So the first time I saw you, I wanted to run away, because their faces were too scary. I didn't want to face them again. When those people said this, they were still trembling. Bai Luo hurriedly stood aside, patted his back, and told him that everything was over. Don't worry about those people have left here, they will never come back. Those people calmed down a little at this time, and Bai Luo sent them back home one by one. They found a room with vacancies, and Bai Luo and his friends rested there. Bai Luo looked at the saint and the elder who were still sleeping under his control. Bai Luo didn't know whether he should let them wake up. After all, once they woke up, the saint and the elder would definitely know these things, but if they were left to sleep, it would not be a solution. After all, they have to know these things. They can only hide them for a while, but not for a lifetime, so Bai Luo looked at Xiao Tu and asked for his opinion there. Xiao Tu didn't know how to say it. After he became a human, he could understand the intricate emotions of human beings. The saint broke down and cried as soon as she saw the tragic scene, which showed that he couldn't accept these things in his heart. But Xiao Tu and Bai Luo had the same idea. Since it came, they should make the best of it. Since it was a fact, they might as well let them forget their sadness immediately and then avenge them. This was what they had to do. They didn't just stay sad here. The strength of the Great Elder should not disappoint them. After all, he could forgive Bai Luo for deceiving him, so he should be able to accept these. But in fact, when they said these words, they were unsure in their hearts, because they all knew clearly. This was completely incomparable to what they had experienced before. The two said this just to comfort them. After all, no one wanted to see them get hit again. Let them wake up. We can't let them sleep in this place forever. After we have asked almost everything, we will continue to look for them. Those people also said that, if they remember the direction they ran, they will come to tell us, as soon as possible. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus book bar published this novel. They are all thinking desperately in that place. In order not to let them down for helping us, we can't stay here any longer. Gao Yangchen seemed to see more clearly than the two of them, and said it directly, so Bai Luo began to withdraw his power, so that the saint and the great elder could wake up, and let them know the truth of these things. Although Bai Luo knew that this was quite cruel for them, there was no other way. The saint slowly opened her eyes. She didn't know what she had just seen, and she fainted immediately, and then there was a period of unconscious behavior. Until now, she felt that she seemed to have seen something again. The saint sat up from that place, and Bai Luo supported her, and let her lean against the wall. At this time, the great elder on the opposite side woke up, and both of them stared at Bai Luo with slightly confused eyes. Bai Luo then began to talk to them. You should know that we came to this place to find those who killed those elders. Chapter 278 Wake Up. After Bai Luo's words, the saint recalled what she had seen. She immediately covered her head, as if to clear her bad memories. Bai Luo had no choice but to hold his hand in his own, and slowly told him, Saint, everything you just saw was true. Those were the places where the elders were abused. You saw it, and we saw it too. But at that time, in order to control your emotions, we could only let you fall asleep temporarily, because even we couldn't bear it, let alone friends like you who have known them for a long time. But don't worry, I have collected their bodies. Although they are no longer intact, they can be brought back to the Holy Land and let them rest in peace. I know you are all heartbroken, but what we have to do now is to find the murderer and avenge them. The saint began to cry again. The sadness in her cry made people feel hot in their eyes. At this time, the great elder was more silent than the saint, but it could be felt that the ferocious expression on his face proved that he was in great pain. He was a person that the elders usually trusted. The great elder could not forget everything he saw. Compared with the saint's outward expression, he kept this hatred in his heart. Bai Luo knew that he had to give them a buffer time, because in order to forget the sadness, they had to experience sadness first. So Bai Luo, Bao Yangchen and Xiao Tu stood up very tactfully, stood outside the door, and said to the two of them, you two should recover in there. We can all understand, but we can't say anything to you. We can only hope that you will mourn and turn your grief into strength. We must find them as soon as possible and solve them. After Bai Luo said this, he left here with Xiao Tu and the others. The people knew that they were friends with those who were hurt, so they couldn't help but look at them with a little pity. At the same time, they told Bai Luo that they must find those who disguise themselves as them as soon as possible, otherwise their image might be destroyed by those people. Hearing these people say this, Bai Luo felt that these things were a bit strange, so at this time he didn't know what to do. But what Bai Luo didn't expect was that all this did not stop, but continued. Those copied shadows were not the end. There was still a force that continued to target Bai Luo in secret. After all, their goal was to overthrow Bai Luo, and of course they would not miss the opportunity to attack Bai Luo. In this way, they could really defeat Bai Luo, but Bai Luo didn't know their conspiracy. Everything those people did was done in secret, which is why Bai Luo had no way of noticing all this. Because they were elite or covert, if they didn't follow them all the time, they would not know what was going on. The saint and the elder hugged each other at this time, and they didn't know what to say. The saint had been growing up in the Holy Land. When the elders were young, they accompanied him and provided him with a lot of help. Once the saint had difficulties, no matter which elder, they would lend a helping hand. Now that they had lost dozens of good teachers and helpful friends, how could the saint not be hit hard? The saint didn't know what to say. She was already crying and could only vent her sadness in that place. The great elder silently shed tears. His eyes were full of hot tears, and his eyes had turned red. One could feel his anger and sadness. The two of them were silent inside for a long time before they gradually stopped talking. Bai Luo and Daoist were not in a hurry to go in, but continued to think about how to hunt down those people outside. Since they dare to do such a thing, I think this is a provocation to us, because they must know that we came to this place to chase them. Since they copied us, they must know our existence, so they are likely not too far away from this place. Maybe they want to see our reaction. Gao Yangchen expressed his guess. Bai Luo felt that it made some sense, and also thought that if they chased now, they might be able to find some clues. But according to the situation of the saint and the great elder, they did not dare to leave easily. After all, those people are quite strong. If Bai Luo and his team chase them out, and those they left behind continue to target these people, then what Bai Luo just said would be a breach of trust. Since Bai Luo promised those people to protect them, he cannot leave this place easily. Otherwise, he would be ashamed of what he said. So after thinking about this, Bai Luo could only say helplessly, but now we can only wait until the saint girl and the great elder wake up before leaving this place. Otherwise, these people will have no one to take care of them. And only after we all leave, will they shift their target to us. We can't let them stay here, otherwise, they are likely to let the wolf into the house. Bai Luo looked into the distance and said what he said. Daoist and Yangchen didn't say anything else, because they understood that there would be no problem with Bai Luo's decision, and all they had to do was accept it here. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. In this way, there will be no mistakes. When the door at the back was slowly pushed open, Bai Luo and the others turned around and found that the great elder and the saintess had already walked out. They supported each other, and their red eyes indicated what they had just experienced. Bai Luo, Daoist and Yangchen quickly came to them, and the few people just faced each other, and no one spoke. In the end, Bai Luo couldn't help it, so he carefully tested that place. Are you feeling better now? Do you want to take a rest? Then we will continue to investigate those things. The saint shook her head. Although she was still a little sad, she had become much more determined than before. She looked into Bai Luo's eyes and said to him, Bai Luo, I know you are very powerful. I want to ask you a favor. Can you help me kill all those people? If I can't fulfill such hatred, I will live in guilt for the rest of my life. The saint knew that what she did might be a bit of moral kidnapping, but she had no choice. Bai Luo was her friend and the person he thought was the most powerful. Only if Bai Luo was willing to help her solve these problems could she truly avenge those elders. Chapter 279 Details. At this time, the saint even wanted to kneel down to Bai Luo, but Bai Luo helped her up and held her hand tightly so that she could lean on him. What are you talking about? We are friends. Even if you don't allow me to say that, I will avenge those elders. After all, I have met them. Of course, we can't allow them to be bullied by bad guys like this. Saint, don't be too sad. Remember what I said. You must stick to your identity and lead the people behind you. Bai Luo reminded the saint all the time because he was afraid that he would give up something because of these things. Although Bai Luo knew that this might put a lot of pressure on the saint, it would at least allow him to survive. Bai Luo could only unravel these things bit by bit. The elder was looking at Bai Luo from that place. Although he didn't say it, Bai Luo understood that he and the saint had the same idea. So Bai Luo looked at the elder and said firmly, "Senior, don't worry. I will definitely repay your trust in me. As long as we find those people, I will definitely kill them completely and avenge those elders." Bai Luo's remarks finally made the saint and the elder relax. The things they had been worried about could now be slightly relaxed. However, the saint's condition was not very good now, but they had to investigate where those people had gone. At this time, the people came over and told them that some of them remembered the general direction, so they wanted to find them to talk about it. After hearing this, Bai Luo was so happy. As long as these people could give some useful clues, then they could really find the direction where those people fled, and then they would definitely find them. After finding them, they could completely solve these things. So Bai Luo was particularly clear about this at this time. He took the saintess and the great elder and hurried over. At this time, the people were waiting for them there. When they saw Bai Luo and his group coming, they invited them to sit down. It can be seen that these people were very simple. They also prepared some gifts for Bai Luo and some water to reduce the swelling of his eyes. After seeing this, Bai Luo was very grateful. The saintess and the great elder were moved by such warmth and felt a little better than before. At this time, the people began to talk. I just remember that after they did all this, they scattered and ran away, but that road led to the back mountain. According to my previous experience, if they had moved away from this place, then no breath would be sensed. But if you feel it carefully, you can still smell the smell on them. It seems that the blood smell has been on them for a long time, so it is the same smell as them. It is still lingering here, which means they should be some distance away from this place. But it should still be easy to find them, and they should be running towards the southeast. After hearing such a specific analysis given by that person, Bai Luo was extremely happy. If everything this person said was true, then they could find the person's location now. So Bai Luo bowed to him with special gratitude and said to them, "Then what other places are there? They can also go. I really didn't expect them to choose this place. If you have any other clues, please tell me together." Bai Luo's attitude was very good, and he had just comforted them for so long, which made them eliminate the fear in their hearts. They no longer had to be afraid of everyone outside because of that shadow. Naturally, these people wanted to help Bai Luo more. One of the girls said at that place, when they ran away, they seemed to have left something behind. You can go and find it. After the girl said this, she reminded Bai Luo, but Bai Luo did not find anything at the scene. Now it seems that they may have to go back and check it carefully. So Bai Luo said to her, "Thank you, little sister." After hearing Bai Luo's praise, the little girl was very happy and ran back to the arms of her family. Listening to what they said, Bai Luo realized that it seemed that they still had to go to the scene and search again. It was very likely that they were immersed in grief just now and did not search carefully, missing a lot of details. Bai Luo decided to go again, but he didn't know whether he should take the saint and the elder with him, so he was stunned for a while, not knowing what to do. The saint understood Bai Luo's meaning, so she stood up and walked to Bai Luo's side. The saint smiled and said to Bai Luo, "Of course I will go. I'm calmer now than before. Let me see the place where they sacrificed, so that I can remember this hatred forever in my heart and have the motivation to kill them." Bai Luo understood that this was the saint's wish, so he looked at the great elder again and found that the great elder was also like this. He didn't say a few words from the beginning. Maybe he was too sad for a while and couldn't say anything. However, what the saint showed was what he wanted to say. Bai Luo could clearly understand the two people's thoughts, so they set out on the road to the scene again. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus book bar published this novel. Now the sky has gradually darkened. It seems that they have been greatly shocked when they came to this place. Now they want to investigate these things, and it is already night. However, Bai Luo and his companions still headed for that place, because Bai Luo had to let the Saint and the Great Elder see it, otherwise the two of them would not be able to rest well tonight. When they returned there, the entire place was a little better than when Bai Luo and his companions first saw it. After all, Bai Luo and our Yang Chen had spent a long time cleaning up this place, and had put away all those horrible things. However, there were still traces of blood on the ground. When the Saint saw this, she was still crying in that place. When she saw these traces that could not be erased, she knew that all this showed that those people had been killed by them. Moreover, they were cruelly made into various unsightly states. If the Saint did not avenge them, then they would not rest in peace. Don't worry, I swear to you here that as the Saint of the Holy Land, no matter what the price, I will make them pay for your lives. My elders, you can rest in peace. I will definitely avenge you. When the Saint said these words, she was determined. At this time, the Great Elder also roared. He looked up at the sky, as if he wanted to convey these words to the brothers, who had passed away. Bai Luo and Xiao too were watching from behind, feeling quite sad, but no one came forward to say anything. They just waited quietly here, as if they were sad for their deep feelings. Chapter 280 is coming. But now, all Bai Luo and his friends can do is to support them here. Apart from that, Bai Luo can't make more changes. After all, the dead can't be resurrected, so Bai Luo had to step forward, pat the Saint on the back, and said to him, "Don't worry, we will all help you solve these problems together, so you must be strong. Only when we work together can we find the murderers and let them taste the real pain." The Saint nodded fiercely with tears in her eyes. Her eyes were more determined than before. After the two of them calmed down, Bai Luo and his friends took them back to where the people were. Because Bai Luo and his friends are not sure where the murderers have gone. Bai Luo always feels that they should really be like those people said. Although they left here, they may still be observing him in secret. So Bai Luo thinks that he should stay here for a while to see if there are any other clues. Besides, the details of this scene are not something they can find completely now. So Bai Luo said to them, "It seems that we have to stay here for a while. If you have any new discoveries, you can tell me as soon as possible. This is a good thing for me." After hearing this, everyone nodded. Xiao Tu and our Yang Chen naturally had no idea. They had known Bai Luo for so long, so of course they would listen to Bai Luo's words. Especially now, Xiao Tu and our Yang Chen attached great importance to Bai Luo. They both knew deeply that Bai Luo's idea was the most correct, so Xiao Tu was no longer the same as before, and had his own doubts. Now he understood that it was the most accurate to leave this matter to Bai Luo, so he and our Yang Chen chatted with the people on the side. Because they were going to stay here, those people were very welcoming. After all, they seemed very powerful, so they could provide them with some necessary help, so that they could settle down temporarily. Moreover, Bai Luo promised that he would definitely catch those people, so their worries were reduced a lot. As long as those terrible people could be controlled, then all their dangers would be eliminated. So Bai Luo and his friends stayed here. After the Saint and the Great Elder had recovered, they began to thank those people and toasted them. At the same time, they heard what had happened. Although they cried so hard, they could clearly feel that they were much more resolute than before. Perhaps it was because of the anger of hatred in their hearts that they became strong. Otherwise, the Saint would not be like this now. The Saint now truly understood what it meant to be strong in order to truly solve these things. Otherwise, she could not get everything she wanted. So now the Saint smiled when she looked at Bai Luo, because she knew this. Bai Luo saw that his emotions had finally stabilized a lot, and he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. He finally didn't have to worry anymore. Otherwise, he was really afraid that once the Saint was excited, she would make some changes to these things. So now they can stay here calmly, because they understand these things. As long as these things don't cause too much trouble, then in the end, the result will definitely be as simple as they thought. You all stay here. If you need anything, you can tell us. Bai Luo is still waiting for an opportunity, so he plans to stay here tonight. As for the future, He has to take it one step at a time and not do things blindly and optimistically, because once they make a mistake, they have no way to regret it. That's why Bai Luo is so nervous and cautious. Only in this way can they help them avoid some mistakes, otherwise no one knows what will happen. Especially since these things have developed to this point, they understand the importance of these things more. So far, they seem to be able to understand the profound meaning of these things. They know the specific meaning of these things, and can do everything here more freely. Now that Bai Luo has thought about these things, he can continue to wait for what is coming. No one knows whether there will be any changes. As long as they stay in this place for a long enough time, the final result will definitely be as complicated as they think. Otherwise, they don't know if there will be any other changes because of these things. The Saint and Bai Luo all stayed in this place because they knew their identities were different. Those people specially arranged rooms for each of them so that they could live very happily in this place. It can be seen that those people were very thoughtful, otherwise, it would not be possible to design it so perfectly. Bai Luo couldn't help but sigh at this time. With such people, how could they not stay in this place and stay well? Especially these people's attitude towards them was really good, which made Bai Luo very moved. It can be felt that they really treat these people as friends and relatives, so Bai Luo was very happy at this time. Meeting these people means that they will be more relaxed if they want to solve these things next, and they can change something. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar published this novel for the first time. So Bai Luo lay down in that place with peace of mind. Xiao Tu and Ao Yang Chen didn't say too much. They naturally wouldn't care about many things. As long as they obeyed Bai Luo's decision, there shouldn't be any big problems in the end. The Saint and the Great Elder did not sleep all night because they still thought of those dead people, so they could not sleep peacefully at all. They could only tell themselves not to think about those things first, and they would definitely avenge them. After having such thoughts, they felt a little better than at the beginning. It seemed that those people were very resentful, so they wanted Bai Luo and others to avenge them, otherwise, they would not be able to close their eyes. So after Bai Luo knew this, he naturally paid more attention to these things, and did not dare to miss anything. Otherwise, if these people were disappointed, it would be a real trouble for Bai Luo. Anyway, after more and more things appeared here, it could be felt more and more that these things were imposed by Bai Luo. Chapter 281 Stay. They said too much, and it seemed that they could all feel the complexity of it. When they woke up, it was already the next morning. The sound of birds outside reached Bai Luo's ears. He slowly opened his eyes and found that it was already late. Perhaps it was because he was too tired yesterday, so he slept until now. Bai Luo hadn't experienced this kind of comfortable feeling for a long time, so he stayed for a while reluctantly. The people outside had already prepared food for them. They took good care of Bai Luo and his friends, and wanted to bring them their own enthusiasm. After Bai Luo stayed for a while, he stood up from the bed. He went outside and saw that the Saint girl and the Great Elder had come out and stood there chatting. Bai Luo followed them and said to them, "You woke up so early. It seems that you should have rested well yesterday." But Bai Luo saw the dark circles under their eyes again and knew that his guess was wrong. Perhaps these two people couldn't sleep, so they got up directly when it was dawn. But Bai Luo didn't say anything clearly, because Bai Luo knew that, since the two of them didn't want to talk, then Bai Luo couldn't destroy their privacy, so Bai Luo didn't say anything. Everyone had come outside. After the people prepared breakfast, they called Bai Luo and his friends over and asked them to taste the place first. If they didn't like it, they could change it. They didn't ask how long Bai Luo and his friends would stay in this place. It seemed that, as long as Bai Luo stayed here, they would provide some help to Bai Luo. Such things were very encouraging and touching to Bai Luo. However, Bai Luo still left them some money. After all, they knew that these people were ordinary people. If they were always treated with good things, their lives would be affected to a certain extent, so Bai Luo would naturally give them some compensation. However, Bai Luo was very sincere. While giving them the gifts, he said to them, "Everyone must accept them. Otherwise, we really can't continue to accept your kindness here, because you have done so well." If we don't give anything, we will feel a little embarrassed. Please accept these." After Bai Luo said this, he bowed to them. The people looked at each other and thought that, since Bai Luo had said so, they certainly had no way to refuse, so they accepted it. Bai Luo and his friends stayed in this place, and those shadows certainly did not leave here. It seems that Bai Luo and his friends' premonition was right. They had been staring at Bai Luo in this place, and found that they did not leave, but they did not know their specific location. So those shadows were particularly happy, and the person who created these shadows behind the scenes used his power again and began to slowly create new characters and let them appear around Bai Luo. Only in this way could Bai Luo be truly solved. If they had been doing these things around Bai Luo, they would most likely not be able to fight against Bai Luo, let alone cause any damage to him. After thinking of this, those people at this time were secretly using their own strength. At this time, Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu suddenly appeared, which was simply shocking. Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu appeared at this scene, and their expressions were a little wrong. There seemed to be no light in their eyes. They just walked blindly in that place, as if they were looking for Bai Luo and the others. And from their movements and steps, it can be felt that they are not actually Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu themselves, but their shadows copied by those people. At this time, Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu, who were stationed in the Holy Land, also had some effects because of this. After all, if they wanted to bring their shadows here, then they were destined to have no shadows there. When they discovered these things was still a question, because this was just the beginning. The shadows of Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu who were sent out this time appeared in this place, just to catch Bai Luo and the others in one fell swoop. Those people would send them here and use familiar people to approach them, because Bai Luo and his friends would definitely not expect that these were the shadows of Gao Yangzu and his friends, and would only think that Gao Yangzu and his friends came to find them. In addition, they thought of a very good set of rhetoric. After those words were spoken, Bai Luo and his friends would definitely believe them, so they didn't have to worry anymore. They all showed excited smiles on their faces. Go quickly, give Bai Luo and his friends a good beating, and it would be best if you can kill Bai Luo directly. Having such a scourge can be said to have affected many of our things. As long as he is killed, all of this will be solved. When they said this, the gloom in their tone was so chilling that it made people feel shudder. Bai Luo didn't know all this yet. He started to sit there and eat breakfast with those people. When chatting with them, Bai Luo found that they were really too simple. No matter what they asked, they would answer truthfully and would not tell any lies. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. When they said those words, they would keep staring at Bai Luo to show their approval of him. As Bai Luo talked, he felt a little embarrassed. He was already treated like this, which was not something that ordinary people could do. Especially these people, who had long been accustomed to these things, were even more comfortable. As long as they could continue in this place, these things would actually be very easy for Bai Luo and his friends. They just didn't know if there would be any other changes. If there were any mistakes, that would be the biggest problem for Bai Luo. Now that they had understood these things, as long as they stayed in this place until the end, the final result would definitely be as they imagined. Bai Luo's understanding of these things had reached a new level. As long as they could change these things, it would be the best for Bai Luo. So after they finished breakfast, those people left there, leaving Bai Luo and his friends enough space. Bai Luo looked at the saint, wondering if she was still willing to search the scene. After all, they couldn't stay in this place for nothing, and they had to do some investigation. Bai Luo had just taken a step outside, and he didn't expect that Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu would appear here at this time. Chapter 282 Unexpected. At first glance, Bai Luo thought he had seen it wrong. He rubbed his eyes and found that it was indeed the two of them. At this time, Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu came forward and said to Bai Luo and the others, "Finally we found you. Fortunately, we are fast enough, otherwise, we can't say when we can get here." At this time, their voices shocked everyone present. Bai Luo was the first to come out. He happened to see Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu coming in. Xiao Tu and Dao Yangchen followed behind Bai Luo and came here after hearing the voice. Seeing the scene in front of them, Bai Luo and Xiao too were stunned. What's going on? How could our Yangzu and Leng Yu appear in this place? Shouldn't they stay in the Holy Land? Besides, hasn't Leng Yu's body recovered yet? How could he be here? Bai Luo and the others didn't know that it was their shadows in front of them, and they were still observing this place carefully. Leng Yu threw herself into Ao Yang Chen's little rabbit's arms. He knew little rabbit's psychology too well, so Leng Yu was there and said to him, I think about it, and I still plan to accompany you to experience these things. I'm fine. I'm almost recovered now. Let me accompany you. When I leave you, I will feel very painful. Only by staying with you, I feel that I'm a normal person. After Leng Yu said this, he hugged Little Rabbit tightly. Little Rabbit was frightened by his words and thought that this was the real Leng Yu, and did not find any difference. At this time, Little Rabbit comforted Leng Yu there, and told him that he would never let him leave as long as he was there. Little Rabbit was immersed in the encounter with Leng Yu, and at this time Ao Yangzu also came to Bai Luo. Bai Luo stared at Ao Yangzu at this time. He always felt that something was wrong, but he didn't know what it was. Ao Yangzu smiled at Bai Luo faintly. Leng Yu said he really looked like a little rabbit, so I said let's do it. I took good care of him along the way. Don't worry, he doesn't have any big problems. He just needs to eat something. The rest is no different from usual. I asked the elders and they all said it's okay. And these shadows copied Ao Yangzu and the others, so they have their memories and know the ins and outs. When they say these words, there won't be any flaws. However, the saint came out from the back and saw these two people. She immediately suspected that there was something wrong with them, because it was too strange. Why did they suddenly appear here? And they had agreed at the beginning that they would not come out together. Now they appear in this place again. Isn't it a bit too strange? At this time, the saint said to Bai Luo, are they really Ao Yangzu and Leng Yu? The saint's words simply brought the atmosphere of the whole scene to the freezing point. Leng Yu, who was in Xiao Tu's arms, looked at the saint with some grievance, and said to her, of course we are real. How could we lie to you, saint? After saying this, Leng Yu began to look at the saint in the eye. The saint could feel that familiar feeling, but she still felt it was very strange. At this time, the saint said to Ao Yangzu, then why do you really want to catch up? Didn't you say you would stay there? After hearing the saint's question, Ao Yangzu did not panic at all, but walked to the saint's side, hugged him first, and then said to him, it's not that Leng Yu missed Xiao Tu too much. He has been saying in the Holy Land that he wants to come to this place. I can't persuade him, and I'm worried that he will be hurt on the road, so I came with her. Don't worry, the elders told me that after taking the supplements you have, Leng Yu's body is now very strong, so there won't be any big problems. Hearing Ao Yangzu say that they came here because Leng Yu couldn't bear to leave Xiao Tu, the saint's doubts were slightly dispelled. After all, they all knew about this. So the saint, who knew all this, didn't say anything, but welcomed them here, letting Ao Yangzu and Leng Yu come in. In this way, they can have a good reunion in this place. Although they all believe that the people in front of them are Xiao Tu and Ao Yangzu, Bai Luo actually does not have complete trust yet. So the next step for these two shadows is the most difficult. They cannot show any flaws or abnormalities, otherwise, they will be immediately discovered by Bai Luo and the others. Especially for a meticulous person like Bai Luo, Ao Yangzu has been with him for so long, and he knows everything that happened in the meantime. These shadows copied everything on Ao Yangzu, so they can naturally deal with everything they said. Bai Luo was a little suspicious of their identities because of the questions just asked by the saint, but he still let them come here. At this time, the saint and Ao Yangzu walked in together. The saint turned her head and glanced at Ao Yangzu, and Ao Yangzu just smiled at him faintly. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel. You still don't believe it? I don't care. We can talk more about it when the time comes, as long as we know each other. The saint thought so too. She couldn't target Ao Yangzu too much, otherwise, if she guessed wrong, wouldn't it hurt the friendship between him and Ao Yangzu? Because although the saint felt that Ao Yangzu and Leng Yu were not quite right, He could only express a feeling and knew nothing else, so the saint could only do this now. At this time, Leng Yu stayed in Xiao 2's arms peacefully, and the two of them stuck together again, not wanting to be separated at all, and Xiao 2 didn't consider this at all at this time. Gao Yangchen and Bai Luo, who were standing by, had the same idea, thinking that the identities of these two people still needed to be verified. If they were real, then they didn't have to doubt it anymore, and if they were fake, they could confirm it in the first place. So Bai Luo and Gao Yangchen exchanged a look with each other, and from their eyes, they knew that both sides had the same idea, and they couldn't help but smile. It seemed that they all thought so, which meant that there was no problem. After they entered, Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu were also a little hungry. So when the people saw two more girls coming, they immediately served them some food and reminded them, saying, "You two, eat slowly, be careful of the heat, these are just served, don't worry, they are still fresh." After hearing this, Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu hurriedly thanked them, and thanked them there. Those people didn't expect that Bai Luo and the others were so polite. No matter what they did, they could find reasons to praise them. Chapter 283 Suspicion. This really made those people so happy that they didn't know what to say, especially now that these things have already happened and people can't avoid them. At this time, Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu were eating in that place with peace of mind. Bai Luo and the others had just finished eating, so they watched quietly on the side. Leng Yu would feed some things that Xiao 2 liked into his mouth. The two of them fed each other one by one, which was quite warm. Others felt that they were fed waves of dog food in this place. Bai Luo stared at Ao Yangzu at this time. He found that Ao Yangzu was still the same as before, without any change. When eating, he always liked to support the table with one hand. It seemed that he was really Ao Yangzu. However, these small habits can be imitated deliberately, so Bai Luo remembered what Ao Yangchen said to himself, that they had to ask them some private matters that only they knew, and then confirm their identities. Because Bai Luo didn't know yet that those copied shadows could copy all their memories and some thoughts. Except for some differences in their bodies, they can't be seen at all. They are the same person, no matter how you look at them. Now they just need to stay in this place quietly. All that Bai Luo did can naturally get some help. Although there is no way to change it for the better, Bai Luo can at least let them stay in this place. The two people did not show any abnormality throughout the whole process, and no matter what Bai Luo said, they could react immediately, as if they were the original ones, which made Bai Luo's judgment a little wrong. Bai Luo went to those people again, and asked them how to turn these things into something that could scare those people. Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu thought that they should no longer doubt who they are, so when they sat there and chatted with them, the tone of the two people became much more relaxed. The saint did not look like she doubted the first time and started talking to the two of them in that place. After hearing this series of tragedies, Gao Yangzu was quite sad at this time and even shed tears. Leng Yu and the saint saw Gao Yangzu like this and hurried to comfort him there. At this time, Bai Luo and Gao Yangchen, who were opposite them, were exchanging opinions with each other. Anyway, we can't count on Xiao 2 now. It seems that Xiao 2 will fall in love once he sees Leng Yu, so we have to be careful of him and not let him get attacked. After all, this is simply not something that ordinary people can endure. Bai Luo and Gao Yangchen were much calmer than Xiao 2. They always felt that these things were not that simple, so in order to verify the identities of the two people, Bai Luo and Gao Yangchen could only bring Ao Yangzu and Leng Yu to the room. Xiao 2 will always be with Leng Yu and will not change. After all, in Xiao 2's heart now, Leng Yu is the best. Bai Luo and the others couldn't take him with them, because if Xiao 2 knew their actions, he would definitely do something else. So Bai Luo didn't want to leave this difficult decision to Xiao 2, so he didn't tell Xiao 2 about these things. Bai Luo went out, and after preparing all these things, he decided to take action. Bai Luo told Ao Yangzu that he had something to ask him and wanted him to go with Leng Yu. When Ao Yangzu and Leng Yu came to the room together, Bai Luo had to tell them about his concerns. Ao Yangzu, I really think that I need to investigate you. I hope you can understand. After all, we are hunting down those who imitated Xiao 2 and his friends. They can imitate Xiao so well, which shows that they are very capable. And you didn't say you were coming here, so we thought you wouldn't appear here, but when you appeared here, we thought it was just an illusion. Otherwise, why would you suddenly come out together? This is definitely not something that ordinary people can think of. Bai Luo's meaning of these words was very clear. He was afraid that these people were imitating Yangzu and Leng Yu. After hearing what Bai Luo said, Yangzu and Leng Yu laughed and said to Bai Luo, "So that's why you're here. Just say whatever you want. You can ask us any questions. After all, we are not afraid of those questions." Seeing the two of them so carefree, Bai Luo felt relieved. At the same time, he said to Yangzu, "Can I let people from outside in? After all, they know more about some things than I do. So we need to ask more questions to make sure it's true." After hearing this, Bai Luo was already somewhat biased towards Yangzu and the others. However, the saint was not here. Although he showed that he no longer cared about it, the saint was actually the one who hid these things the deepest. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. At this time, Bai Luo, Bao Yangqin and the Great Elder were watching here. From their expressions, they could feel what all these things were about. At this time, the Great Elder understood that it seemed that these things were not that simple. Now, Bai Luo, Bao Yangqin and the Great Elder, they can all ask some questions here. As long as they can answer all of them, then there will be no problems. Now Bai Luo looked at the Great Elder. Although he didn't know these people, he still had a certain saying development, so after he said it, he didn't fully understand what Bai Luo meant, so he didn't continue to watch. So the three people began to ask questions. Bai Luo asked Yangzu if she knew when the two of them met. Yangzu answered very quickly and accurately, and when she said these words, she showed a sweet smile on her face, which made Bai Luo a little embarrassed. Bai Luo later asked them some other things, but he didn't expect to get the answer very quickly. In the end, they asked a lot of questions, but Yangzu and Leng Yu in front of them all answered fluently, and there was no hypocrisy. Bai Luo's doubts were worn away by temptations again and again, because in their previous experiments, these two people did not receive any questions. And it will be just like before, very comfortable, able to be in this place and let other things go over there. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 284, Dispelling Doubts. In this way, they can take these things away with them. Bai Luo understood that these things were private to them, so they were not known to ordinary people. Those who knew these things should be the final body. Seeing that they answered fluently and were full of confidence, Bao Yangqin and the Elder had the same idea at this time, so these things should not be done by them. Bai Luo did not express his attitude, but just asked those people to let them go. Because Bai Luo felt that, although this verification had a good result, Bai Luo was more suspicious. If it was really good, why couldn't it become more powerful, but just stayed in the original place? This is just something I want to tell you. It's not that difficult at all, okay? The saint was the one who hid the most among these people. He buried his doubts in his heart because he was afraid that he would be affected by the outside world, because the saint still felt that Yangzu and Leng Yu in front of him were not right. They always said that the elders of the Holy Land agreed to let them come out, but only the saint knew that those people did not dare to act on their own and did not do things that she asked them to do. Once they did it, when he returned, they would not plan to continue working in that place, but just take all the people in this place away. However, the saint could feel that these things were definitely not as easy as he thought, and these people would never allow him to do that. Especially Xiao too, who obviously regarded Leng Gai as her most beloved person, and the saint had no solid evidence, so of course she couldn't talk nonsense here. What he could do now was to pretend not to doubt and see if they would have any clues. Because the saint and Leng Gai had been together for too long, the saint knew some of his little habits very well. Although it seemed that there was no difference The saint knew that there were still some differences, and this strange feeling was magnified little by little. After Aoyangzu came to this place, Bai Luo and the others finally stopped doubting them. Since they knew that there was no problem with them, Bai Luo asked those people to find a room for Aoyangzu and Leng Gaiyu and let them live in this place. The relationship between Aoyangzu and Bai Luo is not as unrestrained as that between Xiaotu and Leng Gaiyu, but they love each other very much. Aoyangzu came to Bai Luo's room and quietly hugged Bai Luo there. Bai Luo told Aoyangzu that they would continue to investigate. Those people killed the elders and made them very bad. When we came here and saw the tragic scene, we were all shocked. We never thought that these things would happen. It was beyond my expectation. The saint and the great elder couldn't accept it at all, so they have been here all the time, planning to take revenge. Bai Luo was talking to Aoyangzu in this place, not knowing that the person in his arms was not the real Aoyangzu, but Aoyangzu's shadow at this time. Hearing what Bai Luo said, Aoyangzu's shadow was extremely happy. It seemed that what they did finally made them uncomfortable, so all they did was not in vain. Otherwise they really thought that they would not be affected by these things. However, Aoyangzu certainly couldn't show this on the surface, otherwise, Bai Luo would see through her at first sight. So Aoyangzu said in that place with great sadness and regret, I really didn't expect that those people would be so bad. Do you have any clues now to find them? If we can find them, we must quickly get rid of them and avenge those elders. Hearing Aoyangzu's words, Bai Luo's doubts were finally dispelled a little. As long as someone supported him in this place, they could persist in this place without worrying about any mistakes. Especially now that they have understood the importance of these things, this idea is even more valuable. As long as they can maintain their current level, they don't have to worry about anything. On the other side, Leng Yu and Xiaotu get along very well. Xiaotu dotes on Leng Yu to the extreme. No matter what Leng Yu wants, Xiaotu will get it for him. This time, seeing that Leng Yu was not well, she came to this place to accompany him and said that it was because she missed him so much. Xiaotu was even happier, and the two of them continued to talk about things in that place. On the other side, the saint and the great elder were sitting there. Although the great elder was a little confused, he saw that Bai Luo and the others had dispelled their doubts and told them that they had passed the verifications they had made, which meant that Aoyangzu and Leng Yu in front of them should not have any big problems. So the great elder did not care about it anymore. After all, he could not care too much about the affairs of these young people, as long as there would not be any impact. The most important thing for them now is to find the murderers. Apart from that, it is not so important for the great elder, otherwise he would not have made such a choice. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. The saint now thinks about it herself. The saint is still thinking back that when she saw Aoyangzu and the others coming, she always felt that there seemed to be something wrong in their eyes, but it disappeared in just a moment. This made the saint somewhat suspicious. Did she remember it wrong? Why did she feel that the memory was so strange? If I hadn't seen it, I shouldn't have any memory of it, but I don't have any impression of it. This is too strange. At this time, the saint couldn't understand what she was thinking. She couldn't say anything to Bai Luo. She had to wait until he was sure before she could do so. Otherwise, she didn't know how to solve these problems. The people were outside, continuing to do their own things. After Bai Luo and the others stayed in the house for a while, they took Aoyangzu out again. Bai Luo took Aoyangzu and walked around that place, and they came to those scenes. After they arrived at those places, Bai Luo told her and said to Aoyangzu, "This is what we said, the place where those elders were brutally killed. At that time, the place was covered with blood, which really scared me. Even though I have seen all kinds of tragic scenes before, I have never seen such a bad one, so I was really scared." When Bai Luo said these words, he still seemed a little panicked, and Aoyangzu then held his hand and said to Bai Luo, "Don't worry, I'm here. As long as we work together, we can definitely solve these problems." Aoyang Chen trusted Aoyangzu very much, so he didn't care at all. Chapter 285 Complexity. Now Bai Luo did not doubt the true identity of Aoyangzu and Leng Yu. He always felt that they were the original people, so he let them come to this county town with peace of mind. Little did he know that in the place they could not see, Gao Yangzu's eyes were very vicious. He stared at these people as if he just wanted to deal with them civilly. It must be that these things in front of him really irritated him, otherwise Gao Yangzu would not behave like this. And now Bai Luo knew that they did not understand the matter very well, so he did not say anything. Once more and more things happened, it would not be so easy for them to change. Anyway, someone was guarding these things in this place, and they had already solved some problems for them in advance. If Bai Luo had not deliberately stayed here for a while, he might not have met these new shadows. At this time, Bai Luo gathered our Yangzu, Leng Yu and Xiao to here. Xiao too was now with Leng Yu, and his heart and eyes were full of Leng Yu. Since Xiao too knew that Leng Yu came to this place to accompany him, he had never doubted Leng Yu's identity. Are you little tired? Go back and rest. Although your body has recovered, you still need to rest well. Otherwise, I'm really afraid that you will have problems again. At this time, Leng Yu listened to what Xiao too said. On the surface, he was very happy, but in his heart, he was thinking that it seemed that he was so easy to deceive. His mission was finally completed almost halfway. The next step was to destroy the relationship between them step by step, so as to successfully kill Bai Luo. So Leng Yu and our Yangzu had to think of a way to separate these people. They are now very friendly, but they are a group, and it is not so easy to break. The reason why they changed into our Yangzu and Leng Yu's shadow this time was to make trouble. One is a more important person to Bai Luo, and the other is the most important person to Xiao too. For them, they both have a high status, so if they want to disrupt them through these two people, it is most likely. Then let's go back. Seeing that Xiao too had said so, Bai Luo took our Yangzu and Leng Yu back from this place. The saint's suspicion was not dispelled, but he would not be wary of our Yangzu and Leng Yu as he was of bad guys, so there was no big disturbance between them. After returning there, those people had already vacated the room for them, so our Yangzu and Leng Yu, who had just arrived here, could live here without worrying about what would happen. The people were very welcoming to their arrival, so Bai Luo talked to them again. They planned to stay for a while to see if they could find more things related to those people. Bai Luo found some details to ensure that those people were not too close to this location, and they definitely left according to the route he searched. Bai Luo's main task was to get rid of those people. Now the Great Elder and the Saint who came to this place have become the objects they must win over, because it seems that the Great Elder and the Saint are still very powerful, and they are both from the Holy Land. Bai Luo cooperated with the Holy Land this time to get rid of the people related to them, which is really beneficial for them, especially since Bai Luo has realized these things now, so he regards these things as more important than anyone else. Otherwise, he would not have been so obvious, so in this way, these things would be much simpler. Especially now that Bai Luo sees these things more easily, it will be easier. You have worked hard, come and taste these fruits. Those people brought some delicacies, and from their expressions, it can be seen that they have no guard against Bai Luo. And our Yangzu and the others on the side started eating there. Now they cannot be too ostentatious, otherwise if there is any difference from the original Yangzu and the others, then they will have problems. You two try it quickly, Bai Luo said, and distributed the food in his hand to them. The Saint sat opposite Bai Luo, watching the actions of our Yangzu and Leng Yu, and found that there was nothing wrong, so he no longer doubted these things. After all, in the Saint's heart, the most important thing is to find those who killed the elders. As long as those people are found, the Saint will definitely make them pay with blood, and will never let them go for nothing. But the Saint didn't know that our Yangzu and Leng Yu in front of him were actually the accomplices of those people he hated the most. But now they didn't know all this, and didn't realize that such a thing had happened. In this case, it was very normal that they couldn't perceive these things. After all, not everyone had such feelings. As long as they could stay in this place, these things were the most important to them. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. Most people were guarding this place, and they were able to reveal the complexity of these things. In the final analysis, it was because they were used to this way of cooperation. Bai Luo and the others continued to stay in this place. The elders in the Holy Land didn't pay too much attention to what was wrong, and Ao Hangzhu and Leng Yu didn't notice it even more. Their shadows had been taken away. After all, they wouldn't pay attention to these inconspicuous things all the time. In this way, Leng Yu and Ao Hangzhu, the shadows of Bai Luo, would lurk for a long time. However, they will not stay in this place for too long. Once Bai Luo and the others have dispelled their doubts, the first thing they will do is to trick someone into becoming their accomplice. In this way, they can destroy this group bit by bit. Leng Yu then set his sights on the little rabbit on the side. After all, the little rabbit on the side is obedient to him. He can just use this characteristic to turn him into his own person. Then, he will not have to worry about it anymore. Now, the shadow army hidden behind him has already reproduced the shadow little rabbit. After all, it is relatively easy to take out their shadows without them knowing it. Therefore, the shadow little rabbit has been successfully produced and will soon replace the real little rabbit. This requires Leng Yu to give them a chance, so they must devise a plan to lure the little rabbit in so as to catch him and let the shadow little rabbit come to the side of Shadow Leng Yu and Ao Hangzhu. Chapter 286 Infiltration. In this way, Xiaota can help them completely eliminate Bai Luo, especially now no one has noticed this. After the sky gradually darkened, they all sat outside and chatted. They said something. Bai Luo is now worried, especially he can feel the pressure of the saint and the tension of the elder. They all seem to be worried about the murderers, and he promised the saint this time that he would help them find the murderer quickly, but now he has nothing. Bai Luo can't help but feel a little embarrassed. After all, what he promised has not been successful now, which is really unconventional. Bai Luo has to make some guarantees to them in front of them so that they can feel better. Especially Bai Luo doesn't want something to happen now, otherwise, no one knows what will happen, especially up to now. These things have evolved very quickly. If Bai Luo could find some clues earlier, it would be better. So at this time, Bai Luo looked at the saint and found that the saint was still in a daze, thinking about how to solve these problems. Seeing this, Bai Luo said to the saint, "What I can tell you is that I will definitely help you solve these problems, so don't worry too much. If you have anything you care about, you can tell me directly, and I will definitely help you." When Bai Luo said this, his tone was very affirmative. After hearing Bai Luo's words, the saint was naturally very grateful to him. He didn't expect that Bai Luo would repeat these words again. The saint wiped the tears from her eyes. He felt that Bai Luo really wanted to help him. At this time, Xiaota noticed the saint's emotions and said in that place, "Yes, saint, we came here this time to help you eliminate the enemy, so don't worry." Although Yang Chen didn't say anything, he nodded, and he could feel that the friendship in their group was very strong. Therefore, Ao Hangzhu and Leng Yu, who were listening on the side, had to separate them quickly or turn one of them into their own people. In this way, they could disguise themselves more perfectly in this place, and they didn't even have to worry about any mistakes in the middle. Especially since these things have been carried out, they must think more, otherwise, they don't know what other problems will arise. Until now, they only need to wait here, and these things will be solved more easily. When they all felt that it was getting late and planned to go back to rest, Leng Yu took Xiaotu's arm and said to him, "Tonight, I'll live with you. We haven't lived together for a long time." After hearing what Leng Yu said, Xiaotu agreed. After all, they had done everything between the two of them, and he certainly wouldn't refuse such a thing, so Xiaotu nodded. Seeing this, Bai Luo was still teasing Xiaotu there. "The relationship between you two is really enviable. Forget it, let's go back to sleep first. After all, we are alone, so we should go to bed early." After Bai Luo said this, Xiaotu smiled at him, and the two did not say anything more. At this time, Bai Luo returned to his room. Ao Hangzhu winked at him when she passed Leng Yu. After the two of them confirmed, they would leave these things to Leng Yu alone to complete, and there was no need to worry about anything. Too much action would attract the attention of others. After all, as shadows, they were familiar with everyone's weaknesses. Yang Chen and Bai Luo returned to their respective rooms. The Saint Girl and the Great Elder lived far away from this place, so there was no need to worry about being discovered by them. At this time, Leng Yu was waiting for the opportunity to come. Once the time was right, he would finish all this as soon as possible. Otherwise, it was unknown whether there would be any other flaws. Especially after these things were settled, Shadow Leng Yu must seize the time to show his true strength. Otherwise, it was unknown what kind of problems would arise because of these things. After Xiaotu and Leng Gaiyu returned to the room, Xiaotu suddenly looked at Leng Gaiyu and said to him, "Did you encounter any difficulties and obstacles along the way? I really didn't expect that you two would chase me. I'm really very touched." After that, Xiaotu hugged Leng Gaiyu in his arms and told him his thoughts. At this time, Shadow Leng Gaiyu said to Xiaotu, "Yes, we have experienced a lot to get here, but I can see you. All the hardships I have experienced are okay. By the way, why don't we go out? I saw a bunch of flowers by the river, which are particularly beautiful. When I saw them in that place, I liked them very much." Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR is the first to publish this novel, so I want to take it off. I was planning to go there tomorrow morning, but I really like him so much that I hope you can go with me. After hearing this, Xiaotu naturally had no doubts. He was now completely in love with only Leng Gaiyu in his mind, so he didn't think about why Leng Gaiyu wanted to return to that scene again at this time. Because that was where all the shadows gathered. Those shadows were not visible during the day, but were hiding in the dark to observe Bai Luo and the others. After all, their most important plan was to capture Bai Luo, so as to attack them and disintegrate their alliance. The first step now was naturally to turn this Xiaotu, who was the easiest to deal with, into their shadow. In this way, they could manipulate everything more easily. So the two of them got up and saw that there was no one outside. Xiaotu said to Leng Gaiyu, "You have to stay with me. I don't know if there will be anything else outside, so you must not go too far." Leng Gaiyu nodded obediently, and the look he gave Xiaotu from behind was full of insidiousness. It can be seen that he was looking forward to the success of his event tonight. When Xiaotu and Leng Gaiyu returned to the scene, they found that there was nothing around. Xiaotu was a little confused. Didn't Leng Gaiyu say that there was a flower here? Why was there nothing? So Xiaotu was about to ask something in confusion, but suddenly found that Leng Gaiyu standing in front of him had changed and turned into a person who looked exactly like him. Chapter 287 Replacement. At this moment, the little rabbit was startled by the scene in front of him. What was going on? At this moment, the little rabbit quickly reacted. The person who looked exactly like him was the one that those people said was a copy of him. That meant Leng Yu. When the little rabbit thought of this, he was about to make a move, but he was knocked unconscious by the shadow little rabbit in front of him. He didn't know what was happening outside. Seeing that the little rabbit had successfully fallen here, the shadow little rabbit was very happy at this moment. He ordered people to catch him directly and hide him somewhere else while he held the hand of the shadow Leng Yu. He is so stupid. I didn't expect that he would be caught by us so easily. After all, the shadow had a natural aversion to the original body, so now the shadow little rabbit saw that the little rabbit solved it for him so easily and naturally felt very disdainful in his heart and didn't want to say anything more. Shadow Leng Gaiyu echoed, "If we hadn't taken advantage of this, we really wouldn't have been able to catch him. Let's go back quickly. If we wait too long, it won't be so easy if Bai Luo and the others find us." The two of them went back to their room hand in hand. No one knew about these things that night, except for the shadows just now. The little rabbit was caught by the shadows. From now on, the little rabbit was successfully replaced by the shadow little rabbit. Bai Luo and the others didn't know what happened. Although Bai Luo felt something was wrong when he was sleeping in the room, he didn't think that it was because of this. He was still dreaming in that place, not knowing that his team had been disintegrated bit by bit. With the replacement shadow little rabbit to accompany him, Leng Gaiyu was even more rampant at this time. The two of them continued to plot these in the room, and naturally they had to continue to implement their plan. There would be absolutely no problem with their plan this time, and they would use their identities to break the relationship between Bai Luo and the Saint girl bit by bit. In this way, they could really change everything. So they will find our Hangzhou again tomorrow morning to discuss these things carefully. The next day, the sun was shining brightly. Bai Luo and his friends got up early and returned to the scene again. At this time, Shadow Rabbit continued to be a little rabbit and greeted Bai Luo. There was no flaw in their conversation. Bai Luo did not expect that the little rabbit would be replaced overnight, so he did not have too much doubt at this time, but continued to observe. Gao Yangchen followed Bai Luo and listened to his opinions. He understood that Bai Luo wanted to help the saint solve these things. The saint and the great elder came in a hurry. The two of them did not rest very well in the past few days, so they were not very energetic in the morning and naturally set off a little late. Bai Luo asked the people to tell them that he would go first and wait for them to come together. Now they gathered here and continued to check. Bai Luo found that the traces left on the ground must have been caused by a very huge force, so Bai Luo successfully understood that the strength of those people was really strong and might even exceed the original body. After all, they are new things that have been copied, so the power attached to them is not something that ordinary people can achieve. After thinking about this, Bai Luo began to understand this thoroughly. Unless they are really sure to deal with them, they really can't act easily, otherwise there will be a greater crisis. After Bai Luo confirmed this, he couldn't help but look at Yangzhu next to him. Yangzhu seemed to understand what he meant and came to Bai Luo's side and studied something with him and Yangchen. Look, aren't all these moves familiar to us? So those people will copy our own moves and then add our appearance and personality. It should be difficult for ordinary people to distinguish them. If I can find a chance to see the real Shadow, maybe I can be sure how to defeat them. After hearing this, Shadow Bunny and Leng Yu, who were standing aside, showed surprise on their faces. They lowered their heads and waited for the results of the search in that place, and from time to time, put their ears close to see what Bai Luo thought. I don't know what Bai Luo and the others are thinking now, but the more they talk, the more they feel that if they deviate from the path they planned at the beginning, will there be some problems? However, the shadows at this time understand that they should not act too hastily. The more they are at this time, the more they should comfort themselves. After all, what is the relationship between them and the people Bai Luo is looking for? So the two of them came here and listened to Bai Luo's words patiently. The saint understood what Bai Luo meant at this time. But there are only some traces left nearby. It would be even more difficult to find them, and they are so smart. They won't reveal their flaws easily. The saint now cares about this very much, otherwise, they will not be able to solve these things easily. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. At this time, the shadows present understood what Bai Luo meant. The things they designed were not something that ordinary people could find. They hid them, and those things could completely cover up their breath. This is why Bai Luo and the others looked at this place for a long time and could not determine where these people went. Bai Luo can only be sure of one thing, that is, they are still nearby, and the specific location is still unknown. Far away from Bai Luo, those hidden shadows are led by Shadow Yangchen. He has almost solved all these things now. In order to change these things quickly, now he can't get close to Bai Luo because he can't get close to his body. After all, Bai Luo and Yangchen always stay together, and they can't stay too long. Because the little rabbit was caught, it will not affect the shadow little rabbit, so he will successfully appear in this place. Now they must think of a way. Their plan is still being implemented bit by bit, and they don't want to make any changes at all. Once there is a change, then the details of their plan cannot be successfully carried out, so the shadows are searching in that place at this time. Bai Luo used his own power to cover the entire land, trying to find some of the breath they left behind. Bai Luo's control of power must be the most powerful among these people. After seeing Bai Luo's actions, Shadow Little Rabbit secretly used a little power. His power is equivalent to that of Little Rabbit, so Shadow Little Rabbit can completely make some trouble under the influence of Bai Luo. Chapter 288 Making Trouble. Bai Luo found that the fluctuations that were relatively stable just now suddenly changed differently. The differences he noticed returned to their original state at this moment. It seems that they must test it again. Unfortunately, no matter how Bai Luo tested, the results were the same. It seems that there is something around that is affecting him. Bai Luo stopped what he was doing at this time. Gao Yangchen, who was standing beside him, asked him from that place. Not knowing what was wrong with Bai Luo could only shake his head, look at Yangchen, and tell him what he felt just now. It seems that something is deliberately stopping me from observing here. 02, use your power, and see if you can cover a little further in this place. Hearing Bai Luo calling him. At this time, Shadow Rabbit concealed his emotions, came to Bai Luo's side, and talked to him. Okay, I'll try your theory first. I've seen it's very strong. If you can't succeed, I don't think I can either. After Shadow Bunny said this, he covered the land with his power. But because this power was controlled by himself, he could control it better. With a sleight of hand, he could prevent Bai Luo and his team from searching for these things in this place. After all, if Bai Luo and his team continued to investigate, they would probably find some fatal problems. Shadow Bunny certainly couldn't let this happen, so he used his power to cover up some of the original things. On the surface, he didn't do anything else, so Bai Luo didn't doubt anything. Gao Yangchen watched from the side and found that the power of the little rabbit flowed to the surroundings little by little. It can be seen that the power of Shadow Bunny covered a relatively deep layer. However, after they finished this circle, the effect was still the same, and they still didn't find anything. No matter how confused they were, they could only admit this. At this time, Bai Luo couldn't help but sigh. What's going on? Or should we search in another direction? Bai Luo was thinking about this place now. He looked at the saint, and found that the saint, who had just looked at him with some hope, had become very indifferent now. He could feel that the saint seemed to have really lost some faith. Bai Luo had no choice but to continue to comfort the saint. Don't worry, we are getting closer to the truth step by step now. I think we should be able to succeed soon. Seeing their helpless look, Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu were very happy at this time. As long as Bai Luo and his team couldn't find them, they could continue to stay in this place and didn't have to worry about what would happen in the middle. Especially now that they had sneaked in here. Once Bai Luo and his team made some progress, they would destroy it as soon as possible, so there was no need to worry about anything. Those shadows didn't want to drag it out for too long, so they had to think of a way to make a quick decision. In this way, as long as they successfully solved these copied things, they could truly become themselves and completely get rid of the name of shadows. This is what these people care about, and Bai Luo and his team still didn't give up and continued to search that place. Shadow Bunny and our Yangzu cooperated very well. When they were talking, they made some moves from time to time. Bai Luo just felt that his power was restricted, but he didn't know that these powers actually came from the bunny behind him. Gao Yangzu and Leng Yu. The three of them were complete traitors. In this team, they suppressed their evil nature and got along with them, just like their original friends. The Saint and the Great Elder were fully focused on this, so they naturally didn't feel anything wrong. Every time they watched Bai Luo search for those things, they didn't think about other things around them, which gave those shadows space to quickly carry out their plans behind them. We still have to sneak into them faster and then disintegrate them from the inside. It seems that I still have to try it. At this time, Shadow Yangchen planned to act. After all, if they gathered together, they would be sure to defeat Bai Luo and the Saint, so he had to try it now. Shadow Yangchen had to wait until after dark, take advantage of the cover of the night, sneak into Yangchen's room, catch him out, and replace him. So after Shadow Yangchen learned the news, he planned to inform Shadow 02 and the others, to cover up for him, so that he would not be discovered by others. After searching there for a long time, Bai Luo and the others felt a little tired, but the Saint was still there, searching according to Bai Luo's original method. The Saint could not forget the state of those elders and the pain when they died. As the Saint of the Holy Land, she must change these things, otherwise, she could not go back to face those people in the Holy Land. I must find them. I must find those murderers. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. At this time, the saint was caught in a vortex. Bai Luo understood that he was trapped in his own trap, but there was nothing he could do. After all, these things were on the shoulders of the saint, and it was normal for him to collapse. All they could do was to support the saint in this place. The saint had given Bai Luo so much help, and he would never forget this. At this time, Shadow Aoyangzu still wanted to persuade Bai Luo was stopped by the little rabbit on the side. They couldn't provoke the relationship between Bai Luo and the saint now, otherwise it would definitely cause Bai Luo suspicion, so they had to be patient. Only by provoking the relationship between them little by little could they really get the final victory. They couldn't be impatient, and had to wait until the evening to get together to discuss. They had to take advantage of the night to discuss their plan in a place where no one was around, because they couldn't let Bai Luo know anything, otherwise all their efforts would be in vain. Because they had realized this, they were very dependent on each other. Once something happened, Xiaotu and Lengai would stick together and make it difficult to do anything. Because they were used to their daily actions, they naturally didn't doubt anything. The relationship between Aoyangzu and Lengai was also slowly getting better. Bai Luo was a little surprised. He asked the shadow Aoyangzu there, "How did your relationship with Lengai become so good? You two only met a few times before, and it's never like this." Chapter 289 Make Another Plan. After hearing Bai Luo's doubts, Aoyangzu laughed and told Bai Luo that she and Leng Yu came to this place together to find Bai Luo and Xiaotu, so their friendship naturally deepened a lot on the way. After all, they both came here for the people they loved, so they naturally had some common points. So all this was normal. After hearing this, Bai Luo no longer doubted it, because he felt that what Aoyangzu said made some sense. They were connected because of such buttons. Bai Luo no longer doubted anything. The people nearby naturally did not stay in this place in vain. They helped Bai Luo find some things in that place. Once it was what Bai Luo and his friends needed, they would keep it as soon as possible. At this time, Shadow Xiaotu saw those people and was thinking about whether to kill them. Although they had no way to provide Bai Luo with too many things, being able to let Bai Luo live in this place would pose a certain threat to them, because once Bai Luo stayed in this place for too long, he would discover them earlier. What they had to do was to disintegrate this team as soon as possible, so this process must be accelerated. This day passed easily again. The saint was still dejected. The great elder squatted beside him and stroked his head. After all, the saint grew up under his eyes, so he understood what kind of character the saint was. The saint was very independent and powerful since she was a child. Because he knew her identity, she did everything by herself. If others had certain doubts about her, the saint would use practical actions to settle them. That's why all the elders in the Holy Land believed in the saint. Because they watched the saint grow from an innocent little girl to a saint who could really take on the responsibility of the Holy Land. How many hardships did she go through along the way? That's why the saint felt guilty about the elders, who were brutally killed. He felt that he hadn't forbidden it, otherwise, they wouldn't have encountered all this. The saint was now immersed in her own sadness. After thinking of this, the great elder was there, telling the saint, if they knew that you thought this way, they would really feel sorry for you. You have to know that this was our original mission. The problem was with those who hurt them, and this had nothing to do with you, saint. You were not in the Holy Land at the time, and did not know about all these accidents. Of course, this has nothing to do with Bai Luo and the others. They helped us come to this place to find clues, so that we could avenge those people. They have done their best, so it has nothing to do with any of us. All the problems lie with those shadows who took action. Since they were copied, their personalities must be different from those of ordinary people, so you should not blame yourself too much, but regroup and muster up the courage to avenge them. I have imagined what they would say after knowing these things, so I can fully understand the importance of these things. After saying this, the great elder continued to sit there and accompany the saint. Although the saint had been bowing her head and putting her head on her knees, she still listened to what the great elder said, and her heart was touched. The saint knew that the great elder had always taken care of her. Now, under the guidance of the Great Elder, she seemed to have solved many of the things she couldn't figure out. They sat under the moonlight, and their emotions gradually calmed down. After a few days of searching, they did not become more and more courageous, but instead strengthened their beliefs. Since the problem was difficult to solve, they had to persist. Although the road ahead was not so easy, it did not mean that they had to stop doing these things bit by bit. They had to successfully realize these things. After saying this, the saint said to the Great Elder at that place, "Yes, I know." After hearing the saint's reply, the Great Elder stood up and told her, "Saint, the dew is heavy at night, so you should go back and rest early. Keep a good mental state, so that we can continue. I believe you will have no problem." After saying this, the Great Elder left here. The saint stayed there for a while, and raised her head again. Although her face was still the same, her eyes were indeed more determined than before. It seemed that she had figured out something, so the saint re-promised to the dead elders, "I promise you, I will never let you die like this, for no reason. I will definitely avenge you successfully." After saying this, the saint returned to her room. She remembered the Great Elder's instructions to her just now. She couldn't be discouraged in this place. She had to be firm. Even if there were difficult problems in front of her, she had to keep it. After thinking about this, the saint successfully knew these things, so she went back. After seeing that there was no one around, the shadows successfully came here. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar published this novel for the first time. At this time, the shadow Yang Chen appeared here by himself. He passed through the houses where the people lived, and came to the door of Yang Chen, intending to take this opportunity to sneak in. But Shadow Yang Chen knew that once he saw his true form, his evil nature would be unable to be suppressed, so he couldn't be too impulsive at this time, otherwise, it would attract the attention of others. But what Yang Chen didn't expect was that at this time, there was not only Yang Chen, who he was looking for, but also Bai Luo in the room. Who could have thought that Bai Luo and Yang Chen actually lived together? This discovery made Shadow Yang Chen very angry. He couldn't get closer, otherwise he would be exposed, so after trying several times, he could only look for another opportunity. It seems that this time it won't work. I didn't expect you to stay with Bai Luo. Damn it. Now I have to replan. After thinking about this, Shadow Yang Chen evacuated from this place without saying anything more. Shadow Yang Zhu, Shadow Zhao and Shadow Leng Gaiyu in other rooms felt this, and received the news from Shadow Yang Chen. They have to make a new decision. Although this opportunity was destroyed, they still have many other opportunities. As long as they find a good way, it must not be a difficult task. At this time they did not say anything too much. Shadow Yang Chen would go back and think carefully about the method that would be beneficial to him. Only in this way could he truly solve all this. Chapter 290 Attack. Now the shadows must make more preparations to really lock Bai Luo and the others here, especially now that they already have an innate advantage. Although they cannot let Shadow Yang Chen join them, they will have other ways. After all, they are about to make trouble, and in this way, they will alienate Bai Luo and the Saint. The plan can be perfectly executed at that time. Now Yi Wang and the others don't have to think about too many things, because once they think too much, it is easy to have some accidents. Shadow Yang Chen left this place. After another successful night, Bai Luo felt that they should stay and discuss how to solve this matter. They can't just keep surveying the scene without looking for anything. In this way, it is too easy to waste time. So they are all sitting here at this time. Now Shadow Yang Zhu and Shadow Leng Yu are sitting next to each other. After the saint came out, Bai Luo was particularly happy because he could obviously feel that his condition was much better than before. So Bai Luo looked at the saint, and the Great Elder looked at the saint, and found that she was in a much better mood than last night. He knew that his words had played a certain role. At least the saint really listened to her. She would change to a certain extent, so they just needed to give her some time. Saint, it seems that you had a good rest last night. If you have any questions, can you tell me as soon as possible? After saying this, the saint nodded and looked at Bai Luo who was talking to her. Bai Luo didn't say anything else. After the shadow rabbit appeared here, they began to discuss here. Bai Luo felt that everyone at the scene was his friend, so there was no need to hide anything when talking about something, so they began to talk here. I believe everyone knows that we have been here for 3 days, but we have been in a stagnant stage, and there has been no breakthrough. I think it is definitely not a good thing for us to continue like this, so we must change it as soon as possible, so that it will be really helpful. So next, I still hope that everyone can put forward some suggestions of their own. If there are any good ideas, you can speak directly and then discuss them together. Bai Luo is the backbone of these people. So when he said this, the others would not doubt anything, because they all believed in Bai Luo's strength, and believed that Bai Luo could really solve these problems. So when they said this, it was obvious that they had already paid attention to these things in advance. Next, they would continue to stay in this place, so that they would not have to worry about anything at that time. Although this matter does not sound so easy to solve, it is their own choice after all. If they still insist on these things here, then there will be some problems, especially after they have become accustomed to these things. It will become a bigger trouble for them. After Bai Luo said these words, the saint was lost in his thoughts. Others were not in a hurry to speak at this time, because they felt that they had to speak little by little. However, Shadow Bunny felt that it could not be delayed any longer. He glanced at Leng Yu and Ao Hangzhu. The 3 people were connected at this time, and they would start their plan at this place. So Shadow Bunny raised his hand, looked at Bai Luo, and said to Bai Luo very reservedly, "I have some ideas. Can I say them?" Bai Luo did not expect that the little rabbit would be so active this time, so he was particularly happy. "Since you said so, it is natural for you to say these things. Let us listen to what the little rabbit thinks." At this time, everyone applauded in that place. Bai Luo and Ao Yangchen were both wondering what the little rabbit could come up with. At this time, Shadow Bunny stood up directly from where he was, looked around first, then looked at Bai Luo, and spoke to Bai Luo. "In fact, I think that we have only found some clues about these things so far. Shouldn't we reflect on whether this incident really happened? Maybe all of this is fake, and those who killed the elders may not exist at all. So I think, if these things really happened, then we can at least find some traces left by the real murderer, but we didn't see anything except the corpse, so this can't prove that someone is really chasing them. And at the beginning, the Holy Land told us that there were some magic cubes, me, Ao Yangzhu, and people with Ao Yangzhu's face in this place, to attack the people in the Holy Land, but all of this so far is just their unilateral death. At least you and I have never seen those people. So I always feel that this matter is not what we think it is from beginning to end." Bai Luo was a little shocked when he heard Xiao say this. He didn't expect Xiao to give a completely different answer, and this sentence was obviously directed at the Saint and the Great Elder. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. The elder sitting at the side was naturally a little angry. He didn't know why the words he said at the beginning were now considered lies by Xiao. At this time, he looked at Xiao and wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Xiao. "Let me finish first, and you can argue after listening to my analysis." Xiao was very serious now. It was the first time that Bai Luo saw him in this state, so he wanted to hear what he found out. Otherwise, Xiao would not be so impulsive. At this time, Bai Luo didn't know how to say these things, but he could feel that there was a different atmosphere at the moment. Ao Yangchen wanted to stop Xiao, but was stopped by Xiao. "Let's wait a while. We can't continue here. Otherwise, I always feel that there will be other mistakes in the middle, so you should let me finish." Seeing Xiao's determination, Ao Yangzhu had to shut up and continue listening there. At this time, Xiao saw that they were no longer talking, so he continued his analysis. "In fact, I think that the Holy Land deliberately slandered us from the beginning to the end. Maybe this incident did not happen, and the Holy Land did this just to blackmail us for something. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 291 Questioning. Otherwise, why can't we find even a trace of the murderer in these things? According to the strength of everyone present here, something has already been revealed, and this time we went out to find the saint and the great elder to follow us, which makes people more suspicious. After Zio2 finished speaking, Bai Luo was still thinking there. He did not doubt that Zio2 was not the original Zio2, but felt that he had never heard Zio2's words before. Why did Zio2 suddenly make such a decision? And Bai Luo did not doubt the saint and the others, so he was a little hesitant at this time. So Bai Luo opened his mouth and said to him, "These words are not right. Could it be that they deliberately killed those elders and then framed other people? How is this possible? I still believe that the people from the Holy Land will not lie to us, and if the people from the Holy Land lied to us, why would the saint and the great elder believe us?" The saint wanted to tell Zio2 that she had never commanded those people to do these things, but why did Zio2 think that the Holy Land was deliberately slandering them? This was a huge stimulation for the saint. If the elder had not been held back by the saint, he might have gone up to fight with Zio2. After all, what Zio2 meant was that it was just a farce set up by the Holy Land. It was too bizarre. Some of our stories are real. I have already told you that someone was attacked by someone who looks like you. Otherwise, why would it be like this? You always think we did it on purpose, but this is a real thing. The elder said what he said. He was a little excited. He didn't expect that they had come here, and these people actually put these questions on him. So how could the elder not be angry? He always felt that his kindness had been trampled on by others. So now he didn't know what to say, and the saint now disagreed even more. Bai Luo had to look at Zio2, wanting to hear the basis of his words. He always felt that after these words were spoken, it would hurt their friendship. You must be sure before you say that. We are friends now, and we cannot let some news that we cannot confirm the truth or falsehood affect our relationship. Bai Luo was still relatively firm at this time, and did not doubt the saint lady too much, and he still stood on the side of the saint lady, so the saint lady and the great elder were not so disappointed. Bai Luo was still able to be wiser, but Shadow Lengai and our Hangzhou saw that Zio2 was questioned by Bai Luo, and they knew that it seemed that they had to assist. Only if more people said so, Bai Luo would be shaken in his thoughts. So Shadow Hangzhou said softly at the side, "Actually, I think there are some doubts about these things." After Shadow Hangzhou said this, Shadow Lengai continued to speak at that place. "Although I came back with the saint, I don't think he's in a hurry at all. He's just confused as to why you would do such a thing. From his expression, I feel like it has nothing to do with him. Now I think it might be something they did themselves. But this is all our analysis. Bai Luo, you can investigate carefully. The main reason is that we can't find any useful evidence now, so these things happen. Often, things that are not paid attention to are likely to be true." After Shadow Hangzhou and Shadow Lengu said these two words, the saint could no longer sit there. She stood there looking at Bai Luo, wanting to get an answer from Bai Luo. He could understand that other people doubted him, but if Bai Luo still doubted him, then he couldn't say anything. At this time, Bai Luo looked at the saint. He always felt that the things these three people said were things he had never seen before. Could it be that he had missed something in the middle? Otherwise, why would such a situation occur? So at this time, Bai Luo was a little confused. "Excuse me, I need to search carefully, saint. I don't know why our Hangzhou and Lengu gave such an answer, so I need to think carefully and see what kind of aspect we are in." So after coming to this point, Bai Luo did not completely resist the saint, but felt that he could not make a conclusion too early. He still felt that he should take a good look. Otherwise, he had no way to be sure, so the saint wanted to have a good argument with them, and Bai Luo said at this time, what everyone said is their own analysis. There is no evidence sooner or later. It is better not to say anything here, otherwise it will be too serious to hurt people. So after coming to this point, they all reached a consensus, and would not say anything more about these things, but the saint would not tolerate them. Seeing that the saint was a little angry, Yao Hangzhou understood that it seemed that his chance had come. He had to find fault and quarrel with the saint. In this way, the relationship between the two of them would be broken, and Bai Luo would definitely stand on the side of the shadow Aoyangzu. After all, the relationship between the two of them is closer, so Shadow Aoyangzu has such confidence. In the past, he would not dare to conduct such an experiment. It is only because Shadow Aoyangzu now knows Bai Luo's feelings for Aoyangzu, so he can do it. So at this time, the saint opened her mouth and told Bai Luo about her grievances, and told Bai Luo that what they said was all their guesses, not the real world. I came back at about the same time as you. You should be sure that I was indeed on a mission outside at that time. I rushed back as soon as I received the news. Why don't you believe these things? Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. After thinking of this, the saint began to talk to Bai Luo. At this time, Aoyangzu was listening on the side. She looked at Bai Luo from time to time and found that Bai Luo was listening very seriously. So at this time, Aoyangzu said directly to the saint, "Don't say it here. Why do you have to act pitiful? Len Yu has already said that when he and you came back, your condition was not like this. Why do you have to start preparing for something else after such a big thing happened? Now, I don't know what you are talking about." Chapter 290 To Quarrel. It can be seen that Aoyangzu couldn't stand the saint, so she quarreled right here, and Aoyangzu also found out some things the saint had done. Of course, the saint would not sit idly by. What she hated most was being insulted by others. So the saint started to fight back. She looked at Aoyangzu and said with disdain, "Then why do you have the courage to talk to me like this? Don't forget that your strength is the last in the entire team. How can you be so powerful? Besides, I have never done those things. Don't slander me here." At this time, Bai Luo and Aoyangchen were frightened by the scene in front of them. No matter how they thought about it, they would never have thought that one day Aoyangzu and the saint would quarrel. Moreover, the relationship between the two of them was quite good. Why did it suddenly become like this? So at this time, Bai Luo and Aoyangzu could only quickly mediate. After all, their roles were quite important. So at this time, Bai Luo stood there and pulled Aoyangzu and the saint apart. He could feel that the two of them were indeed aroused, so they wanted to serve each other well. Now the two of them seemed to be keeping out of each other's way, which scared Bai Luo and Aoyangzu. They didn't expect that the two of them would fight, so at this time, Bai Luo had to step forward and pull Aoyangzu and the saint apart to prevent them from really quarreling because of these things. At this time, Bai Luo stood in the middle to mediate and told them, "Don't quarrel anymore. We are all friends. Don't get angry over something that has no complete evidence. It's really not worth it, and I have no way to investigate all this clearly. Why keep guessing here? As long as these things are really resolved, they will naturally speak directly." After saying this, it can be felt that this matter is not that simple, because no matter which aspect is described, there seems to be a certain loophole, and this is a matter that can't be solved. So after thinking about it, I can only say it this way, otherwise, these things cannot be completely changed. Aoyangzu seemed unable to suppress her anger and wanted to continue to fight with the saint, and Bai Luo stood on the side of the saint. After all, Aoyangzu had Aoyangchen's care, so there shouldn't be too many problems. At this time, Aoyangzu was obviously very angry and was still angry there. At this time, Aoyangchen stood beside Aoyangzu and said to her, "You are such a fool. What happened to you that you became like this? I don't think there is any big grudge between you two. What is going on with you? You are not deliberately slandering him here?" After hearing what he said, Aoyangzu became even more angry and said to him, "What you said is not something we can say at all. I really don't know where you came from." After saying this, they seemed to have completely understood what happened in the meantime. Bai Luo stood there and looked at the saint. The saint was so angry at Aoyangzu's words that she trembled all over. She didn't know what to say, but she could obviously feel that Aoyangzu's words were spoken sincerely. This was a big blow to the saint. She believed in Bai Luo so much, and they thought that they would definitely help her solve these things. Unexpectedly, Aoyangzu now questioned herself with such words. So the saint shed tears at this time. Seeing him like this, Bai Luo couldn't say anything more. He understood that the saint must have something to hide, but why did our Hangzhou say that? This made Bai Luo feel helpless. He didn't know how to understand these things. Okay, saint, don't cry first. You and our Hangzhou should calm down first. Think about it carefully. There must be some misunderstanding in the middle. Otherwise, it wouldn't be like this. At this time, Gao Hangzhou saw Bai Luo comforting the saint all the time and thought that this would not work. If Bai Luo stayed by the saint's side all the time, he would definitely be softened by the saint's words. Wouldn't his plan fail then? So at this time, Gao Hangzhou didn't give up and immediately shed tears. This made our Hangchen very nervous. It was the first time he saw our Hangzhou crying so sadly, and the whole person revealed sadness. And it was obvious that there seemed to be a conflict between the two of them. Otherwise, they would not have quarreled like this suddenly, and our Hangzhou had something to hide. At this time, Gao Hangzhou said to them very aggrievedly, "Are you still talking to the saint here? You don't know what the saint has done. I'm not talking nonsense. The saint has hurt me before. If you don't believe me, just look." At this time, Bai Luo was stunned when he heard our Hangzhou's words. How could this be possible? They had known the saint for so long, and it was the first time Bai Luo heard these words. However, looking at our Hangzhou's expression, he felt that all this really happened. So Bai Luo immediately came to our Hangzhou's side, comforted him there, and said to him, "You are not talking nonsense here, are you? When did the saint hurt you? Why didn't I know about this?" After hearing what Bai Luo said, Gao Hangzhou lifted her sleeves and found a scar on her right arm. It was obvious that she was injured by the weapons of the Holy Land. At this time, all this seemed to indicate that these things were related to the Holy Land and the saint. And our Hangzhou continued to say, "The error-free version is available at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR released this novel for the first time. You see, my injury came from their weapons. Can I still say anything? All this happened in reality. You don't really think that these things are all my nonsense, right?" After saying this, it can be clearly felt at this time. Bai Luo was even more confused. He just didn't know how to say it, but seeing our Hangzhou crying, he had to comfort her aggrievedly. But Bai Luo was still quite rational at this time. He thought there must be some misunderstandings. Otherwise, why didn't they have any problems before? But today they all said it out loud. "Don't worry about this anymore. I don't think it was intentional. Maybe there are some misunderstandings between you. Just talk it out." Chapter 293, Unyielding. Bai Luo was still talking here, but our Hangzhou was not willing to give up at this time, so he shook off Bai Luo's hand, returned to his position, turned his back to Bai Luo, and deliberately said to Bai Luo, "In your mind, I'm such a reasonable person. What I said is based on facts. You don't really think that I'm deceiving you here. I can explain every sentence I said. What I said is true, and I can assure you." Gao Hangzhou's remarks at this time made Bai Luo not know what to say. He could feel that the reason why Gao Hangzhou could be so independent and confident was because he was really sure of it. Otherwise, why would it become like this? At this time, the saint couldn't help but fight back. "Why do you have to blame me for things that I didn't do wrong? I never hit you nor attacked you. What you said is nonsense. I don't know why you, Gao Hangzhou, want to slander me here. I don't understand what you are thinking." The saint didn't know what to say at this moment, but she didn't want to leave Bai Luo. After all, she felt that Bai Luo was still on her side. But Gao Hangzhou and the others were very determined now, and the shadow rabbit on the side echoed them. At this time, Bao Hangchen didn't understand why the two of them were so determined. Yingzi Lengai who was also saying what he wanted to say. At this time, Xiaota said directly to Bai Luo, "Let's draw a clear line with them. Haven't you heard what we just said? If one person says it is false, but the three of us have such a feeling, then do you think we are all lying here? We can assure you that these things are true. It's just that the saint didn't admit it after she did these things. We have never told lies. Bai Luo, we have known each other for so long. Do you think we are the ones who tell lies here?" Now they are getting more and more excited. At this time, Xiao dared to take out a weapon, put it against his arm, and said to Bai Luo, "If I lie, then let my arm be broken." I definitely didn't say anything. All this was done by the saint. If you can't do it, you can ask other people. After saying this, Bai Luo was shocked by the scene in front of him. He had never thought that Xiao would do such a thing, and he quickly said to Xiao, "Put down your weapon first. Nothing has happened yet. Why are you doing this? If you have anything to say, just talk it out." Bai Luo was very eager to take Xiao's weapon away. At this time, Gao Yangzu burst into tears. There was a bit of sadness in her crying, which was really distressing. And from listening to it, you can feel the grievance and depression in it. "Bai Luo, we have known each other for so long, but I'm a liar in your eyes. I really didn't expect that you don't have a little trust in me after knowing each other for so long. My injuries were all caused by the saint, and the injuries on my body were all caused by the saint. I didn't say it just to save your face. Now they are slandering us here, saying that people who look like us attacked them, but there is no evidence so far. Why do you firmly believe in them, and don't believe in us who live with you day and night?" At this time, Gao Yangzu didn't know what to say. She leaned against that place very weakly, and Leng Yu hurriedly stepped forward to support Gao Yangzu, so that he wouldn't fall down. Seeing the three peoples collapse now, Bai Luo had to agree. He understood at this time that, if he really let himself choose, Bai Luo would definitely stand on the side of Gao Yangzu and the others. Seeing Bai Luo's forbearance, and not saying a word, the saint knew that Bai Luo had agreed to let her leave here. The saint was not the kind of person who would stay in this place forever. "Okay, Bai Luo, since you don't believe me, then there's no need for me to stay here. Okay, let's go. They all think we did something wrong. I didn't expect that we knew each other and ended up like this. Since you don't want to find those people, then we'll go by ourselves. But I never thought that one day we would get to this point. Bai Luo, I hope you can have a good result next time." After the saint said this, she left without looking back, and the great elder just looked at Bai Luo and shook his head. How could he not have expected things to turn out like this? Originally, they were just discussing here how to solve these things next, but suddenly something like this happened, which really made them not know what to say. Bai Luo saw the saint and the great elder leaving, and there was no way to stop them. At this time, Gao Yangzu and Xiao were still staring at him in that place. Gao Yangzu was someone who had always been with Bai Luo. He didn't know how to persuade Gao Yangzu and the others. Moreover, Gao Yangzu didn't expect Xiao and Leng Yu to have such thoughts, which meant that the saint and the others really had doubts. Otherwise, why would the three of them lie here? Unexpectedly, this would be the result. Bai Luo sat there somewhat dejected. Although he agreed to this approach, he still felt a little guilty towards the saint. So he said to Gao Yangzu and the others, "Are you all satisfied with this result? You should all have a good rest here." Gao Yangzu, how are your injuries? Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel for the first time. Since things have come to this point, Bai Luo does not need to pursue it any further. If they have already drawn a clear line with the saint, then there is no need to miss them here. Therefore, Bai Luo should pay more attention to Gao Yangzu and other people's thoughts. Gao Yangzu then shook her head, wiped her tears, and leaned into Bai Luo's arms aggrievedly, and said to him softly, "I don't have any other intentions. I just want to tell you everything I've been through. If you think it's unreasonable, I can understand. But Bai Luo, I have never lied in what I said. I hope you can believe me. Everything I said really happened. The saint really did hit me, and we really can't find any evidence, right? Then it is very likely that all of this was done by the Holy Land." Chapter 294 Leaving. Now, when Bai Luo heard this sentence, he always felt that he had been brainwashed and believed that these things were right. Gao Yangchen didn't know what to say at this time, so Shadow Bunny sat beside him, put his arm around his shoulders, and said to him, "Hey, don't you think we are lying here? It's just that the saint and the others are really problematic, and we wasted so much time and found nothing. Don't you have any doubts?" Gao Yangchen didn't know what to say at this time, so he kept silent. He followed Bai Luo and the others and experienced these things, but he could feel that the people in the Holy Land had done them good things and some other help. Now this kind of thing happened. Bao Yangchen didn't know what to say. I'm confused. Where did you find all this? Why didn't we feel it before? The little rabbit continued to talk to Ao Yangchen at that place. It's because they hid well. They pretended to be harmless in front of you and Bai Luo. But it was us who were copied this time. They slandered us for what kind of people we are. Until now, there is no way to find those who imitated us. Doesn't it prove that everything they said is a falsehood? Even if we thought they were good people before, people will always change. The saint and the people in the Holy Land will always do things that are not in our interests. This is normal. Shadow Bunny's rhetoric is very powerful now. After listening to it, you will unconsciously follow his point of view. So now Bai Luo and the others have nodded, agreed with their words, and Shadow Bunny is very happy at this time. He is ecstatic in his heart. Finally, the relationship between them and the saint has been exposed. In this way, it will be easier for them to deal with Bai Luo alone, ruin their reputation, and then successfully destroy them. So next, they will guide Bai Luo little by little to destroy the world with them. In this way, they will have greater power to destroy the whole world and hold it in their hands. They can become the masters here. And all these were the thoughts of those shadows. At this time, Bai Luo felt a little tired, so he said to them, "You stay here, I want to go in and rest. If there is anything, you can find me in advance." After saying this, no one else said anything at this time. It can be felt that they can now understand Bai Luo's thoughts. So Ao Yangzu took Bai Luo's hand and said to Bai Luo, "How about I accompany you?" But Bai Luo didn't understand why she was a little repulsive to Ao Yangzu in her heart, so she shook her head. "No need, you are still injured. You need to rest first. Wait a minute. I will get you some medicine to replenish it." After saying this, Bai Luo returned to his room, and Ao Yangchen followed him back inside. At this time, only Xiao Tu, Ao Yangzu and Leng Yu were left. At this time, they were very happy. They looked at each other with excitement in their eyes, but they could not show that their plan had been achieved. So Ao Yangzu went back to her room, and Xiao Tu and Leng Yu returned to where they were. Alas, I didn't expect it to be so smooth. It seems that the pressure of many people is the most effective for Bai Luo. He will definitely be forced to drive the saint girl and the others away from this place. I didn't expect it to take too much time. This is really a good thing for me. After thinking about this, Xiao Tu was very proud at this time. He had completed the first step, and the next step would be easier to solve. Without the help of the saint girl and the others, it would be easier to deal with Bai Luo and the others. Moreover, they have such a close relationship with them now, it is even easier to attack them. Shadow Xiao Tu felt that they must think of a good way to solve these things. We will lead them astray little by little, so that they will be completely trapped in the vortex of crime. At that time, those people will not believe them, and the good reputation accumulated by Bai Luo and others will be broken. Isn't this what we have always wanted to see? So we just need to do it step by step. After Shadow Bunny said this, Shadow Leng Yu agreed very much. That's good, then we will do it this way, and then as long as these things are over, there will be no problems. After saying this, they seem to be able to feel it more. There are some benefits for them, so at this time, Bunny and Leng Yu wanted to spread the news to other shadows. In this way, they can celebrate in advance. Now the saint who was driven out, and the elder are walking there, without any destination. They don't know whether they should return to the Holy Land, but continue to look for those who attacked the elders in this place. What on earth is going on? Oh no, I never thought that Bai Luo and the others would say these things. When did you attack Ao Yangzu? Why is he so sure that you did these things? I really can't figure it out. Did they misunderstand something, or is there something wrong with them? Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus book bar is the first to publish this novel. The elder was very confused at this time. What had just happened was simply incomprehensible to him, so he couldn't hold back his anger and asked the saint in front of him. The saint didn't answer. He was wondering why it turned out like this. He never thought that one day he would be driven out by Iangzu and the others, so at this time he didn't know how to explain this idea in his heart. After hearing the elder's question, Iangzu and the others' actions became even more confusing, and the saint could only shake her head helplessly. How should I know? If I knew, then we would not be driven out. Maybe they really think so. Maybe they are not treated well in that aspect, so they have such thoughts, but I really can't tell myself why these things happened. After saying this, they had nothing to say. Now they had to stay here and rest for a while, and then proceed to the next thing. Otherwise, they didn't know what to do. But the saint would not go back from this place. She had not found the murderers who hurt the elders, so how could she willingly return to the Holy Land from this place? I will stay here for a few more days, so we will find them ourselves. We must avenge them. When the saint said these words, she no longer thought about the help of Bai Luo and others. In the end, she had to rely on herself. Chapter 295, Flaw. Now the saintess has understood that he must rely on himself to solve these problems. Fortunately, I think the great elder is with him, so the saintess will not look so pitiful. He still has to believe in the great elder's help. So the two of them have helped each other and no longer miss anything else. Bai Luo was in his room, thinking about whether it was right or wrong for him to drive them away today. He could not forget the look in the eyes of the saintess and the great elder. The doubt in their eyes made Bai Luo seem to question whether his decision was right or not. Bai Luo didn't know how to say it, but the departure of the saintess and the great elder was forced by Iangzu and others. If Bai Luo really had to choose, he would definitely choose to stand with Iangzu and others. Why on earth is this happening? Why did these things happen? Why did Iangzu and the others say these things to the saint? Could it be that as Iangzu and the others said, the saint did a lot of bad things to them behind their backs? But why didn't I feel anything? Now Bai Luo didn't know how to express his thoughts. He just felt that these were too much. He had no way to understand them at all. He could only let his brain rest for a while and then think about it carefully. At this time, Bao Yangchen was also in the room. The two beds were next to each other, but they were very quiet. They seemed to be thinking about how to solve these problems next. The shadows on the other side were very happy. At this time, the three of them gathered together and talked freely in that place. Anyway, we will take them to do bad things next, so destroy all those people, but we can't show it too obviously, and don't tell them that what we do is bad. Just let Bai Luo and his men blow up the houses of ordinary people. In this way, those people will definitely hate Bai Luo very much, and then we can successfully destroy the image of Bai Luo in their hearts, and then it will be easier to solve everything. At this time, the plan of these shadows can be said to be very comprehensive. From any aspect, they can successfully trip up the male director Bai Luo. It seems that they have been relying on such ideas to persist until now. After all, in their opinion, how big a threat Bai Luo is to them. If the threat of Bai Luo's corner can be solved, then it is a great thing for them. So at this time they can continue to study in that place, and there is no intention of giving up easily. Now the three shadows can fight against Bai Luo and Ao Yangchen, so they don't have to worry about anything next. Unlike before, they still worry about the help of the saints, but they would put up some resistance. Now that the relationship between them has broken down, the happiest ones are naturally these shadows, as they finally don't have to face two teams. After all, they all know that the saint and the great elder are quite powerful, so if they join the melee, they have no chance of winning. Now that the saint and the great elder have left this place, it is simply good news for them. So next they just need to drive Bai Luo and the others crazy little by little in this place, and then they can solve the problem more smoothly. Ao Yangchen couldn't help but sit next to Bai Luo at this time. After seeing Ao Yangchen's actions, Bai Luo was a little confused about why Ao Yangchen did this, because he didn't understand why Ao Yangchen suddenly came to his side. So at this time, Bai Luo looked at Ao Yangchen and said to him, "Do you have anything to say? Do you have the same idea as me and always feel that there is something wrong with these things?" Now Ao Yangchen had to nod his head. He couldn't tell Bai Luo too much about his thoughts. It was just from his subconscious that he always felt that Iangzu, who came to this place, seemed to have changed. After all, Iangzu and Ao Yangchen belonged to the same family. so there would be a certain connection between the two of them, but he always felt that Yangzu seemed to have some personality changes this time. Although Yang Chen thought that he could see this because Yangzu's performance was too obvious. But in Yangzu's view, he hid it very well. No matter what minor problems he had in the past, he suppressed them severely. Only in this way could he really come back here. The reason why Bai Luo couldn't care about these things was that he didn't observe Yangzu carefully, while Yang Chen could see it more clearly. He had to see more carefully, so naturally he could see it more clearly than Bai Luo. Yang Chen would have such doubts at this time, but Bai Luo didn't say anything now. They continued to lie on the bed. Bai Luo didn't have any answer to Yang Chen's question just now, because he didn't know how to say it. He always felt that he had nothing to say now. The deep feeling of powerlessness made him breathless. So at this time, Bai Luo had to be a little dejected. Maybe there are some problems with all this, but I haven't found it now, so we can only persist like this. I will leave this place with them. Maybe there are other ways to find those people they said. But what they said makes sense. We haven't seen those people who really killed the elders they said the saint said. Until now, is it really false? Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar published this novel for the first time. So after coming to this point, they will quarrel over these things now. It is because of such doubts between each other that they can't stay in this place well. Now Yang Chen understood Bai Luo's idea. He felt that Bai Luo's idea was correct. If he still asked for something in this place, it would be wrong. After all, he could live in a room. Bai Luo also said it very thoroughly, so he should be like what Bai Luo said. So Yang Chen nodded at this time. Fortunately, you are here, otherwise, I always feel that there will be some mistakes. So Bai Luo, you are really important to me. We can talk to Yangzu and the others in detail. Maybe they are too angry, so when they said those words today, they always felt that they were a little incomplete. After hearing this, they have confirmed the news at this time. Next, they just need to stay in this place, so there is no need to worry about any problems. Chapter 296 revealed. Especially now that they have reached a consensus, it will be easier to solve these problems. Now Bai Luo said to Yang Chen, let's rest here for a while, and then go see Yangzu and Xiao Tu. I think Xiao Tu is with Leng Gai now. Let's ask them some details, and we don't have to worry about anything. So at this time, they have already discussed everything. Among these people, Bai Luo is the most important, because Bai Luo decides the direction of any development of these things. As long as Bai Luo thinks it is right, he will create that direction. Once Bai Luo thinks there is a problem, he will change it immediately. So for those shadows, they must manipulate Bai Luo's thoughts. Let's not act too intimate. Leng Yu and I are already lovers, so it doesn't matter. But Yangzu, you have to keep a distance, and don't stay by my side. Otherwise, there will be some problems. After saying this, we know that Shadow Bunny has become the leader of the three people. They are communicating with the shadows outside. After learning all this, they are very happy. The only thing they feel a little bit sorry about is that Shadow Yang Chen did not join their team. Otherwise, they would be truly invincible. At that time, Bai Luo would only be the real one, and the others would be pretended by the shadows. Then Bai Luo would have no way to accomplish all this. So next, they only need to implement the plan in this place. Next, they don't have to worry about what other problems will happen. Especially after they have a certain understanding of these things, it will be easier to solve these things. Up to now, these are all things that Bai Luo and his friends cannot know. After all, these shadows hide so deeply, just to prevent Bai Luo and his friends from knowing, so as to facilitate their actions. So once they have any trouble, all their efforts will be affected immediately. So every time they think of this, they will not say anything more, but wait calmly in this place. Anyway, more and more things are happening in this place. If they still care about these things, it would be a bit wrong. So Bai Luo and Yang Chen continued to stay there, while Yangzu and Leng Yu outside. They separated as soon as possible. They all returned to their respective rooms, and did not say anything more. this team. Now they can finally stay here with peace of mind. As long as they stay here long enough, then they can successfully leave this place, no longer worrying about what other problems will happen. Especially up to now, these things have developed very obviously, so they can do what they want to do in this place, no longer worrying about any other mistakes. It was not until the evening that Yang Chen and Bai Luo came out of the room. They saw Yang Zhu and the others waiting outside. They must have something to say to them, so Bai Luo said to Yang Chen, let's go out and see what they want to say. After they said this, they came outside. After seeing Bai Luo coming out, Yang Zhu hurriedly stepped forward to greet him and said to Bai Luo, I didn't expect you two to come out now. We just wanted to go in and find you, but then we thought you might be a little tired, so we naturally want to rest here. Now Bai Luo saw Yang Zhu smiling at him, and he didn't know what to say. He understood that Yang Zhu said those words for his own good, so Bai Luo smiled and touched Yang Zhu's head. We too have rested well. How are you doing? If you still feel wronged, you can speak out directly. I'm sorry to tell you that it's because I didn't pay attention to these details before. So you can speak out. It's a help to me. I will definitely correct it next time. After saying this, everything seems to become more obvious, especially now that Bai Luo took the initiative to say these words, which means that Bai Luo is apologizing to them. For those shadows, this has successfully achieved what they wanted to do. So several people went to that room together. At this time, the people had prepared dinner. When the people saw that two people were missing, they asked where they were going. Bai Luo was suddenly asked where the saint and the great elder had gone. For a moment, he was a little embarrassed and didn't know how to say it. After all, they had just been driven away from this place by him. He couldn't tell these people that he couldn't keep them here because they did something wrong. And these things have nothing to do with these people. So Bai Luo said to them at this time, they left this place in advance, so we are the only ones left here. Don't worry, they are all safe. After saying this, the people breathed a sigh of relief. So that's how it is. I thought that the little girl and the uncle would have some problems. As long as they are fine, then you can have dinner quickly. At this time, Bai Luo and the others started to eat. Yang Zhu still picked up the dishes that Bai Luo liked to eat. The interaction between them was very harmonious, as if nothing had happened. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus book bar released this novel for the first time. But this is only because those shadows are in this place, enduring their patience, that they behave so normally. Otherwise, once they let go, it will definitely not be the current situation. As Bai Luo was eating, he suddenly thought of a very important question. When the people saw the people who attacked the elders, did they see the real murderers, or were they just pretending to be the people from the Holy Land as Xiao said? But Bai Luo felt that they couldn't tell the difference if he asked them this question. After all, they didn't understand the difference between the two. They just thought that some powerful people attacked them. Otherwise, this problem wouldn't have suddenly appeared. So now that he thought about it, he could understand why it became like this. Next, they continued to eat in that place. After they finished eating, Bai Luo and the others sat there and chatted with those people, thinking about what they would do next. Chapter 297 Change. Bai Luo and his companions came here to find the murderer who killed the elders. However, they have now separated from the saint, so these matters are no longer their responsibility. Therefore, Bai Luo and his companions must discuss again what to do next. Do you have any good directions? We can choose one tomorrow and then move towards our destination little by little. You can tell us what you want to do along the way. Bai Luo is very tolerant of them now. As long as they want to do something that Bai Luo can do, he will definitely agree. This means that Bai Luo is very indulgent towards them. At this time, Xiao said to them, why don't we go to the nearby towns to have a look? Maybe we can find some useful things there. After all, the things in these people's hands are relatively precious. If we can find something worthwhile, then we don't have to worry about it anymore. After saying this, Bai Luo did not expect that Xiao would mention such a method. They also had to go to the nearby towns. Before Bai Luo came here, he he had observed there, but he did not find that there was actually a large group of people living there, and they seem to have been isolated, so we don't have to worry about being attacked by others. Now that Xiaota mentioned that place, Bao Yangchen felt a little curious and wanted to go over to take a look, so Bao Yangchen nodded in agreement. Seeing that Bao Yangchen had already nodded in agreement, Bai Luo didn't know what to say, so he laughed. Well, since everyone has the same idea, let's do something different tomorrow. They have now decided to follow what Xiaota said and go to the nearby towns to have a look. If there are any good things, we can prepare them in advance. In this way, we don't have to worry about lacking some useful things. Bai Luo and his friends continued to sit there and chat. Those people could feel that these two people seemed to be different from before. Although those people had this different illusion, they didn't dare to tell Bai Luo and his friends. They always felt that there might be some scenes in the middle, so they still had to do these things in this place. And now Bai Luo and his friends have successfully come up with a plan, and the next step is to wait until the next day to execute it. In contrast, the Saint and the Elder would be a little miserable. After all, they had made choices aimlessly in that place, but they didn't know that those people were actually beside them. Those people around Bai Luo were all related to the shadow. The two of them have now come to another place, so even if they come here, there is no way to change anything, so they must log in from another place. Only in this way can they really achieve this effect. And now Bai Luo and his people are able to stay in this place because of this. At this time, the Saint was holding food in her hand and walking slowly in that place. No matter how messy her steps were, she could see determination in her eyes. The Saint didn't want to stop because she must take revenge. Even if the probability of these things happening was very small, it had become a very important thing after all, so no one could say anything. After all, they were not qualified. The next Saint would continue to stick to her own ideas. The Elder saw that the Saint was carrying so many things and felt that she was a little tired, so he said to the Saint, "Why not put all your things on me so that you can walk more easily and you can see better things? Why not do it?" Although Bai Luo didn't know what was going on with the Saint and the Elder, he always felt that there shouldn't be any big problems for them to help each other. At this time, the Elder continued to look at the Saint, but no one said anything. They just told him that he should do these things by himself, so there was no need to show off in this place. And all this was what the Saint had to do, so the Elder didn't say anything. He knew what the Saint was thinking and what he was going to do, so he couldn't become a stumbling block for him, otherwise it would completely affect all his next things. So after thinking about this, the Elder had already understood the importance of these things to them, and they didn't need to lie here. So they just needed to wait here. No matter what you do, Saint, don't worry, I will definitely follow you, and we will definitely find the murderers. The two people now cheered each other up in that place. Bai Luo and the others returned to their respective rooms without saying anything else. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 = 9 plus book bar released this novel for the first time. Now they have calmed down all this and don't have to worry about any mistakes in the middle, so they just need to stay in this place. Stay quietly until the end, then all this is the best for them. Especially once these things start, for them, it is the most important thing. Bai Luo's understanding of these things has changed differently now. Since they have understood these things, there is no need to insist on anything. And those shadows didn't talk tonight, but planned to lead Bai Luo and the others astray little by little, so that they can truly achieve their goals. So they are not suitable for meeting in the plane these days, and they only need to do all this in this place. So now that they have a plan, they already know how to do it. Bai Luo is now lying in bed in better spirits than in the morning. Although it is still inevitable to think of the current situation of the Saint and the Great Elder, Bai Luo is now more determined than at that time. Otherwise, no one will believe him. So now Bai Luo finally understands this point. No matter what others say, as long as he thinks it is right, he can stick to it. Although there may be some problems in the process, there is no other way. After all, this is their own choice. All they can do is to continue to persist in this place. Even if someone wants to change, it will not be as simple as Bai Luo thinks. Forget it. The things that the Saint has done are really bad, so they can't have no mercy on him. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 298 Departure. Otherwise, it would not be as simple as it is now. It is because Bai Luo misunderstood this, that he thought the Saint and the Great Elder were people who had a great relationship with him. So every time he saw them, he would complain fiercely. Now Bai Luo no longer studies these things, but starts to rest in that place. Those people think that Bai Luo and his friends will leave tomorrow, so they stay up all night in that place and make some specialties for Bai Luo and his friends, so that they can take them away from this place. If Bai Luo knew this, he would be very moved. After all, he never thought that someone would do this. For Bai Luo, it was simply something he dared not think about before, but now it really happened. For Bai Luo, the impact is still too great. And Bai Luo and his friends plan to leave from this place tomorrow. They have to continue the next journey. It is impossible for them to stay in one place all the time. Otherwise, they will not be able to completely fulfill their wishes. So Bai Luo has made extreme preparations. Bai Luo should be the one who moves the most among these people. He must fully exert his strength. After all, Bai Luo is now all round. No matter from which aspect, Bai Luo is an absolute master. With such a master here, there is no need to worry about any other problems. Now they have already recognized this, so they just need to stay here. When they woke up early the next morning, they were all awake. Shadow Bunny and Shadow Aangzu were very agile, because they knew that they had to solve these problems as soon as possible, so they even walked with a gust of wind. The people had already made preparations and put all the things they had prepared there, wanting them to take them away. After Bai Luo woke up, he joined their team. However, when they were about to leave the town, they saw a group of people waiting with a lot of things. Bai Luo shook his head and refused, bowed to them, and said to them, "Thank you for your kindness, but we haven't solved those things for you yet, so you don't have to give us these things. Please accept them. We have already appreciated these things. Of course, we understand your intentions. We will definitely do what you want to see." After saying this, they already understood. The real meaning of these things turned out to be because of this. Otherwise, it is unknown whether it would turn out like this. Next, Bai Luo said goodbye to those who followed them. Now they can go to the next place without worrying about any other problems. Now they can continue to do what they should do in that place. It seems that they always feel that such people are very powerful, but how can real people care about anything because of this? So after they left that town, they came to another town. At this time, Bai Luo looked outside and felt that the people in it should be very happy, so it should be a good thing for them to live here. Bai Luo couldn't help but sighed and said, "Sure enough, those who live in this place should have no troubles. I didn't expect that I hadn't experienced these things. I really envy them a little bit. What they see now has been collected for a long time. It is not what they did at the beginning, so there must be some differences. After all, these are all people imagined by themselves. Only in this way can they not see everything." The Shadow Rabbit took the lead and said to Bai Luo, "Why don't you let me go in and take a look? Maybe if I go in, I can open this place up, and then we can know what's inside." Bai Luo heard the little rabbit say this, although he knew that with his ability, according to the method just now, he could successfully enter and know what's in this town. But Bai Luo didn't want to take some measures and be spurned by others, so we'd better not do these things, otherwise, we don't know what kind of changes will happen. At this time, the shadows let themselves go. Now Bai Luo has no other helpers around him, so it's too easy for them to deal with Yang Chen and Bai Luo, so they won't be as quiet as before, and they may be even crazier. This is not something that ordinary people can be sure of, so this is a speechless thing, but this is the real result after all. Let's go in. If there is someone, we can ask him, but if someone stops us, we must make some reports and attack their little rabbits. After saying this, Bai Luo shook his head in disapproval. We can't attack civilians. I don't have such strength, so how can I bully those ordinary people? Bai Luo felt that after these, Xiao didn't say anything, neither agreed nor refused, but retreated from that place without saying anything else. Bai Luo took them to the town and found that it was still relatively deserted. The error-free version is available at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. Compared with the place they just left, this place is more like a tomb sealed by something for thousands of years, so it has become like this. We must find a way to really change these things, otherwise, it will always be the first one, which is really too much of an impact. Now Bai Luo came to this dilapidated town, and he could see one or two people, but after seeing Bai Luo and the others coming, they immediately went back. It can be felt that they are very resistant to these people from the outside world. Bai Luo clearly understood what they were afraid of, otherwise, he would not have been hiding in this place. So at this time, Bai Luo was very respectful to them. After all, they were the real masters here. Now that Bai Luo and his friends came here, Shadow Bunny and his friends' eyes were shining. What they wanted to do was to take away all the valuable things in their house, so that they would not have to worry about encountering any treasures. But now they didn't know whether Bai Luo would follow them to do it. However, Bunny and his friends would not think too much about things and let Bai Luo accept it little by little. Seeing how excited Bunny and his friends were, Bai Luo and Ao Chen were a little surprised. Chapter 299 Bad Things. Xiao and the others weren't like this before. Why do they like it so much now? Did something change? After they said this, they all felt that something was wrong. After all, they knew Ao Yangzu and Leng Yu too well before. Once they came to a strange place, Ao Yangzu and Leng Yu would always follow them. But now they are so relaxed and run around with Xiao in that place. This really surprised Bai Luo, but Bai Luo could understand them. Maybe they have figured out these things, so they can stay in this place so freely. There is no need for him to care too much about these things. Then let's go. So they started to sit in a place, and what Bai Luo and Ao Chen didn't expect was that the two of them had just entered here, and Xiao on the other side had already killed a family first. His action was so fast that they didn't have time to react, and their heads had already fallen to the ground. All this was made fun of by the shadows Ao Yangzu and Leng Yu who were watching from the side, and they laughed non-stop in that place. You are getting faster and faster. It takes a lot of strength to successfully kill them with your sword. It seems that you have grown a lot during this period. Now they were talking in that place, as if the people who fell in the pool of blood had nothing to do with them. So at this time, Xiao and the others went in and took out all the things. They successfully put the valuable things in their arms. The rest were messed up, so they hurried away from that place. And they wanted to have fun first, and then go to find Bai Luo. If they did this, they could completely destroy the identity of Bai Luo and the others. Now they are acting recklessly in this place with the faces of Ao Yangzu and Leng Yu. This will make those people remember these faces, and then they can put the blame on the real Ao Yangzu and Leng Yu. This is the trick that these shadows used on the elders at the beginning. They first copied their shadows. In this way, they will definitely be scolded by those people, so in this way, they can successfully manipulate these things in that place. Especially now that everything is getting faster and faster, it is not as simple as before. Now Bai Luo doesn't know how to judge, and he can't even sigh. What is going on here? They can only endure it here. Bai Luo and his friends waited for a while before they met up with Xiao and his friends. Bai Luo saw that Xiao's clothes were now in a mess. He looked at Ao Yangzu and Leng Yu beside him and found that they were also out of breath. He couldn't help but wonder, what on earth did they do? Before Bai Luo spoke, Xiao told Bai Luo directly, we just went to a family and talked to him about something. You didn't see it, right? We have solved it now. Let's continue to go down. Now in this town, the land is vast and the population is sparse. For them, it is actually very easy to take action, because in this way, even if they kill someone, other places will not know that it is safe enough, so they come here, just like coming to heaven. Especially since they are used to the competition for these things, they can naturally do everything so beautifully in this place. Next, they just need to attack them little by little. Now Bai Luo followed Xiao and the others. he found that Zyro 2 had a strong smell of blood on his body. This smell was definitely not just picked up, but accumulated over a long period of time. Bai Luo had never smelled this smell on Zyro 2 before. He couldn't help but wrinkled his nose. Could it be that Zyro 2 had hurt someone again? Otherwise, why would there be these things all of a sudden? This simply surprised them. They didn't expect why things would turn out like this. It seemed that they could only stay here quietly. Otherwise, they didn't know what would happen. At this time, Zyro 2 and the others came inside and found that those people were scrambling for something. A closer look revealed that it was food. It must be that there were too few people in this town, and there was not much food left, so there was such a scramble. When Bai Luo saw this, he wanted to give the food in his hand to everyone, but was laughed at by others. How can this be? We must give out some things. Only in this way can we really stay in this place. Bai Luo thought so, but Zyro 2 and the others didn't think so. Zyro 2 directly stopped Bai Luo's hand from waving and said to Bai Luo, "Why do you want to pity them? They do all this because they want to. Who let them be born in such a place? What can we change? You can give it to him this time. Can you do it next time?" Bai Luo didn't expect to hear this from Zyro 2. He looked at Zyro 2 with some doubts. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR first published this novel. How can you say that? You were never like this before, but these people are very pitiful. Without food, they will really starve to death in this place. They are preparing for the distribution in that place, so now they can do it. There is no need to stay here at all. So at this time, Bai Luo rejected Zyro 2's suggestion and distributed it in that place. Those people did not expect that there would be someone in this place to do such a thing. They were simply shocked and ran madly from that place to here. Only in this way can they stay there completely. Now when Zyro 2 saw those people running over, his fun was reduced by half. After all, he wanted to see them fighting and bleeding. He did not expect Bai Luo to do this, so Zyro 2 and Ao Hangzhu had to find another opportunity to successfully expose Bai Luo's ideas completely. In this way, they can be truly satisfied. Otherwise, they will jump around because of these things, so there is no need to do other things smoothly next, and they must complete them quietly. Bai Luo and those people slowly got along well. After all, the power in Bai Luo was very admirable, and Bai Luo's attitude was so nice, so those people naturally knew who these people were. As long as they had a different feeling, they would understand what was going on at the first time. Chapter 300 Awakening. But the little rabbit didn't expect that Bai Luo and his friends would treat these strangers so well, so this was a huge shock to the little shadow rabbit. After all, in his opinion, Bai Luo must be like them and have a certain hostility towards these people. Only in this way can all this be truly resolved. Otherwise, it is unknown what will change. So for them, this is simply the most undesirable thing to see. So now they have understood the importance of these things, so they don't have to worry about anything next. So this is so important to them. Once these things start to develop, they must think about how to solve them. Now the little shadow rabbit can only follow them, watching Bai Luo and Ao Hangzhu help the suffering people, while they are watching from the side. Shadow Ao Hangzhu and Leng Yu are very indifferent. No matter what Bai Luo and his friends do, it seems that they will not be touched. They just watch quietly in that place, as if these things have nothing to do with them. At this time, Bai Luo saw their actions, and had to greet Ao Hangzhu and Leng Yu in that place. "You two can come and help us distribute them. Some of them are girls. It's not convenient for me to give them to them." Bai Luo is doing these things very well now. He will also take everyone's thoughts into consideration. At this time, Ao Hangzhu quickly went to Bai Luo. He couldn't show impatience, otherwise Bai Luo would definitely doubt him. So at this time, Ao Hangzhu deeply understood this. Only when Bai Luo asked him to do these things, he would take the initiative to do it. In this way, it would not violate the rules of their shadows. And Shadow Bunny also came to their side reluctantly, helping them at that place, and distributing those things. Those people seemed to have seen a god descend to earth. They had never thought that someone would help them in this place. So at this time, Bai Luo smiled and said to them, "Everyone, eat more. If it's not enough, I still have some here, but you must tell me if there is any way to guarantee that you will always have food. After all, I can't stay in this place forever." After hearing Bai Luo's words, those people nodded. From their expressions, it can be seen that they all admired Bai Luo very much. After all, it really surprised them that someone distributed things to them in this place, which moved them so much that they didn't know what to say. People like Bai Luo were like saviors to them, so they looked at Bai Luo with gratitude in their eyes. And Bai Luo naturally didn't want them to give him something in return. He just hoped that they could all live a more stable life. So after Bai Luo distributed the food, he continued to wander around that place. At this time, Shadow Rabbit also understood that they could not let them stay in this place any longer, so he said directly to Bai Luo, "Why don't we go to their homes to have a look? Maybe we can find something good. After all, these people are probably not the original owners of these houses. Since those people are not here, their things can naturally be taken away by us." Bai Luo shook his head, not understanding what the little rabbit meant by what he said today. From the inexplicable disappearance at the beginning, to the fact that he just wanted to give that thing to those people, but was rejected by the little rabbit, and now the little rabbit actually wanted to break into other people's homes and take away their treasures. This series of actions made Bai Luo have a lot of questions about the little rabbit. He didn't know what triggered the little rabbit to exert such strength. They didn't know what to say. So at this time, the little rabbit continued to walk in this place, not realizing that what he said had been noticed by Bai Luo, and at this time Bai Luo was a little confused. Why did the little rabbit say that? Bai Luo then looked at Yangzu and Leng Yu who were following behind him. Although they didn't say anything, he could tell from their actions that they were the ones who were there when they were distributing things to those people. If he hadn't called out, Yangzu and Leng Yu probably wouldn't have cared about it. So at this moment, Bai Luo finally found out what the problem was. He grabbed Yangchen who was about to overtake him, pulled him aside, and spoke to him in a small voice. "Do you think they really have a problem? Let's wait and see. Just now, Xiaotu told me that they were going to rob other people's homes. This really shocked me. How could they have done such a thing before? Isn't this a joke? What on earth are they thinking?" When Bai Luo said this, he could clearly feel that he was angry about all this. Yangchen knew that Bai Luo valued these things more than anyone else, so he was annoyed when he thought of those people who spoke in such a tone. So now Yangchen said to Bai Luo, "Let's wait and see. Who knows what they are thinking? Maybe they are just joking here. If they really want to do that, we can stop them at the first time. If they really do something bad, we will punish them at the first time." At this time, Bai Luo also realized that these people might have big problems. After all, Xiaotu and the others never did anything that would harm others and benefit themselves before, and they would follow him to help those disadvantaged groups. So at this time, Bai Luo's suspicion of them was also the greatest, so he wanted to see what these people would do next. Read the error-free version at 69 book bar. 6 equals 9 plus BOOK_BAR published this novel. At this time, Shadow Bunny and Shadow Yangzu were also secretly discussing in that place. "When we go in, we will kill them all, just like we did the first time. If there are still people, we will silence them. If there are no people, we can just take away all the things. In that case, can you still store them there? I have another place where I can store things. There is still a lot of space there." They were discussing heatedly in that place, but they didn't know that Bai Luo and Yangchen had successfully begun to doubt them. So if they showed any evil emotions again, Bai Luo would attack them immediately. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.